It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox were rained out of their game last night with Baltimore. That game will be made up today at 1:35. It's the front end of a day-night doubleheader. Brian Bayo starts game one, and then Lucas Giolito will pitch game two at 7:10. Sox are currently 3-3 on a 10-game homestand. They made a small trade yesterday. They got first baseman Ryan Noda from the Angels for cash considerations. As for the Bruins, The Athletic reported yesterday they will conduct final interviews for their vacant head coaching job next week. A decision will be made after that. At the NHL playoffs, Florida now leads Carolina 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals after a 5-0 road win last night. The Hurricanes have now lost 14 straight conference final games. ESPN and others are reporting that Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson joined the team for OTAs yesterday in Foxborough. This is after he took some time off following a death in the family. And league MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 38 points last night. Oklahoma City beat Minnesota 118-103 to take a 2-0 lead in the NBA's Western Conference Finals. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Here we go.
Boom. I win. Boom.
Yeah.
It's a buddy.
We've got a passion for Boston sports.
Get angry.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
When has that been necessary to fact check?
and Hardy
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
on 98.5.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT booting up.
Let me hear you say, boo, boo, boo.
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
That's like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that. Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fun. Having some fun.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go. What happened? They're like, explain it again, and then I explain it again, and they go, oh.
I can see her.
I get it. They're like, I get it. They're like, I can understand why you yelled. I swear to God, that's true. Everyone, and I've told the story exactly how it happened. And I said it was literally the third time that I said it should have been had to been unsaid.
Nick!
I'm trying to remember the last time I've seen you legitimately that angry while we were working.
It was a frustration because, like, I assumed that it would go without saying that I didn't want to see her beforehand.
Right.
But so already in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's pretty bad instincts, but I can get her. Okay, I never implicitly said it.
He's looking at me like I'm crazy.
And then I said move her, and I said I can see her. And then when I said I could still see her,
I can see her.
he just froze and looked at me like I was crazy. Like I was.
You're the
I was
one
an
upset.
Yes. Again, yeah, I'm the one upset because I'm the one. You're the one who's getting me upset. That's
I can't
why
help that. You can see her.
Yeah. Well, yes, you can. You see that you can.
That was not relayed to me at all.
Well, no, it wasn't, and I never said it was. What was I thought it would be obvious.
No.
All right. Well, if I can just talk, if you don't know the story, it's that we had on a woman that Hardy had been dealing with for like years and years and years and years and years. Sarah from Everett, and she had sent pictures of herself, but like they were from 30 years ago, and then there would be pictures without her face in them. Like no one had ever really seen her. And for John and I, it wasn't that big a deal, but I thought it was interesting for Hardy to have never seen her, because when you've been talking to someone, if you have in your life for any length of time, and you've never seen them, especially if a member of the opposite sex, it's always just strange because you've pictured them in your mind a certain way, and then when you finally see them, it is generally not what you expected, and that's kind of a fun reaction. So I had said that on the air, I don't know, a dozen times leading up to her appearance, that none of us had seen her and that I was interested in how Hardy would react to her. Now, in our studio, there are two big windows that you can see out of.
Mm-hmm.
Right in front of our windows, there's a chair, a couch, and another chair. The couch is directly, you can't miss it. Like, I mean, it's right there. It's about 10 feet away through a big-ass window.
The windows are what, 4 feet by 4 feet, 5 feet by 5 feet?
Regardless, yeah, either way. Yeah, they're large. You are correct. They are large. And he, first of all, she gets here and he sits her right down on the couch where you can't miss her. And Hardy really can't miss her because the position of his chair is just, he's looking at that sofa. Like, he can't miss it. So immediately you would assume, if you had listened at all, or even were instinctual about it, that you would not sit the person that we talked about not having looking at. You would not want them where we could see her. Mm-hmm. But the old me would have gotten mad at his lack of instincts. That did not happen. I said, "Hey, can you move her? Tell me if I get anything wrong here. But I want to be serious. Tell me if I get anything wrong here. If I do, please step in." I tell him to move her. He moves her. Now he moves her into the conference room. Now, the conference room, about 15 feet away from me, there's a window. And behind that is a window that's about 2 feet away from that. And it's unobstructed. And he put her in the conference room, and she sat in a chair directly now in my line of sight, like where I can't miss her. And now I'm like trying not to look, but she's right in my line of sight. I can't not see her.
She's waving at you, if I remember correctly.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I said, "Nick, move her." And he looked at me like I had 8 heads. He looked at me like I had 8 heads, and he didn't move. And that's when I lost it.
Yeah.
That's when I lost it.
As I said, it had been...
Because if it was me and I was Nick, I would have just gotten up and moved her. Like, I wouldn't have just sat there frozen.
You're missing one part. I did go over there and ask her to move, and she told me no.
I didn't, but Nick, that's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Then go stand in front of her.
I'm like, what? You have to move.
Then tell her to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they got to listen to you. They're in the building. You know, like, you got to go. Like, the guys don't want to see you. I mean, whatever. I'm obviously not mad about it.
I'm not coming on the mic to get.
I understand. I understand. I just, it was more just you froze and you were looking at me like I was the biggest idiot in the world, and I'm like,
you were losing your mind.
I didn't lose
sight to see.
I did. Well, yeah, I don't doubt that, but but what was making me lose my mind was the way you were, partially because you were frozen looking at me. And it was just, I was like, why aren't you moving?
I just never seen, like, somebody flip out like that before.
How long you been working on this show?
I don't remember the last time he flipped out, at least on me.
Right.
Maybe with Bird, like, maybe one time, but.
Oh, no, I've revisited that with Bird, and I think I had a point.
About calling at like 5:30?
Yeah, he got like all that was a weird exchange. I don't know if that happens anymore. Bird had something going on.
Yeah, Bird was aggressive.
Yeah, like
the
he was
most aggressive
combative.
ever. Bird's a great guy, but that day was the only day I ever remember him being aggressive towards anyone.
It was extremely out of character.
So the two of you actually didn't go at it, but you could see like steam rising off his head. He was angry that day.
We worked for CBS at the time, and the boss did not like that. He said I came off terribly in that, and I'm like, all right, well, I mean.
Anywho,
I'm like I don't know what you want out of me. I mean, he was being like what do you call it when an employee? I don't have any
Insubordinate?
Insubordinate. Thank you. He's being insubordinate. He was being like unnecessarily combative. And then everyone like went, oh, what a jerk off, like, ask him to do this. And then if you really go through it, it wasn't really asking for anything.
No, it wasn't.
It was just like, if you're on your way to work, don't set an alarm and make a big deal about it. But if you're on the way to work, can you call me just to make sure that I'm up? It would be like a triple alarm.
Yeah.
Like if you could call me. Now, 99 times out of 100 or even more, like I just answer the phone and go, thanks for calling. When I worked in Atlanta, I talked to my producer every morning. Now, one of us would call one another, but I talked to him every morning on the way to work. I did it every day.
Were there any instructions for Bird if you didn't pick up the phone? Was there anything you wanted him to do if he called you and you didn't pick up?
No. It was just if call and then and hopefully, like, if I didn't set an alarm, I'd hear that. No, there was no consequence if he didn't call, or if I don't even think he didn't call me and I got mad. I think I asked him to call me and he got mad. Who knows? It was a real long time ago. I mean, it must have been over 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
You asked him to call you.
Yes,
and he got mad.
Yeah. So it wasn't like I got mad at him for not doing something. I'm like, yeah. I said, can you call me on your way in, like, just to make sure. Now, what the plan would be is that I was either here or on my way in. It's not like Bird got here at 4 a.m. I mean, Bird got here after me, most likely, or at least the same time.
Yeah, it wasn't. If he
It was a tie.
It was
It was probably a tie.
I would agree.
And so I was just like, if you're on your way in, can you call me? Like, that's not my job. And I'm like, well, who's it? Well, then what is your job? If that's not your job, what you have this like, you only watch movies at work? That's your job? You have to understand, this is a guy who's watching movies, not on his phone, not on it. He had brought in piece by piece a surround sound system. I'm not making it up. A surround sound system to watch movies. He was so bored with the show. And we just kind of joked around about it. But you got to have a lot of balls. And I love Bird, and I don't think this would ever happen again. But you got to have a lot of balls to, like, sit up there with a surround sound system where you're being paid. He wasn't an intern. He was being paid to just answer the phone.
Yeah.
And he sat there, and no one we busted his balls kidding in a joking way, but I never, like, said you're going to get fired or anything like that. None of us did. And then I was just like, hey, when you're in your way into work, can you call me? And that became this whole thing, which pisses me off because Drew and Mike, you know them.
Yeah.
The overnight guy called the one, I guess Mike, called the guy that unfortunately passed away. The guy would call him every morning, and he taped it because 5 times out of the 10, the guy wasn't up when he called him because he would have been partying the night before.
A lot of people would be going, ooh, oh.
And that became kind of a bit on their show. He would call him every morning and, like, tape it, but he called them to make sure he was up. It's just not uncommon on morning shows that a producer calls the talent. In fact, I am not Howard Stern, nor do I claim to be, but this is about 1,000 steps from what I asked for. Chernoff, who's now the head of like Odyssey programming, used to drive to Long Island every day and knock on Howard Stern's door if he didn't come out at a certain time. So, and I know other people that have done that. In fact, the Bird Show, I think, called Bert. Like, it's just something that happens. It's just like someone on staff, like, make sure the guy's up, because if the guy's not there, it's a problem.
So, and again, there's maybe it was your tone. Maybe that's what set him up. But I'm trying to come up with another reason in my head. Was this in the days of cell phone minutes being paid for by, like, blocks of 30
No.
and 60?
No,
Did he
it
not want to burn any of his precious minutes by calling you?
To go against myself, I mean, it was almost unanimously like I was a dick.
It was tone that day, as I remember it. It was tone. You were not awake. You were angry, and it was tone.
Yeah,
that's what set Bird off.
I don't remember what you said. I don't remember what Bird said. I remember hearing it and thinking you were a dick.
Yeah, you were not alone in that.
Yeah.
But and I probably was being a dick, but I was not. I don't think the premise of it was off. Like, I don't think I was asking. The notion that I was asking for something outrageous is not. It's just not the case.
Well, this is the one thing that I have changed my opinion on when it comes to doing this particular show, because I think audience-wise, it's kind of ridiculous to think that anybody outside of a teenager would need someone to like rouse them out of bed for school. Like everyone else in the world gets up for work on their own, and you just do that. Now, I am still, today was the rare exception when I woke up before my alarm and got up on my own, but 90% of the time my alarm goes off and I am shocked. I don't know what's happening. What the hell is that noise? And this is after a year and a half now. Mm-hmm. Like, so I get the, if not the need, at least the wish for a wake-up call, because this is not normal getting up at this time.
My father was a vice president of marketing for an independent ad agency. It was a big ad agency, but it was an independent ad agency. He had a secretary and an assistant. Like, people have assistants. Like, they have assistants. Like, it's not unique to radio. You know, the hosts of a show are the CEOs of the show. The show is something that, generates millions of dollars. Guys with offices have assistants, and assistants do things. And like, just asking someone whose only job is to answer the phones, I still stand by this, to just, hey, I mean, I could have even been more strict about it, but just, hey, on the way in, if you're on the way in, can you call me and make sure I'm up? Sounds childish. But having a secretary is childish. Why should anyone answer the phone for anyone? That sounds childish. You can answer your own phone. Then why at all these businesses is there a step between you and getting to someone? Not a receptionist at a desk that has to field appointments, but someone, when you call someone directly, they answer the phone and say, I'll check. You ever see Mad Men, man? They had a pool of broads, some of them with very big boobies. Redheads. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Christina Hendricks.
Yeah, you don't
Still
see her
great
anymore.
Too. You do if you follow her on Instagram.
Attaboy 12.
All right, perv.
You do you.
You know, I talked to you. I texted with yesterday is Tyler Saugus.
Tyler Faith. Saugus' own.
Tyler Faith. Saugus' own adult film star.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You talked to her about Mark Jamili?
Yeah.
And what'd she say?
She thought it was funny, and she's going to Vegas for 3 weeks, and then who knows?
Oh,
then who knows? Bob, go ahead. You like that, Nick?
Dirty T, my man.
Hey, what's up, Bob?
I know you've been real busy with baseball and everything. You missed what I think might be the funniest 10 minutes of TV the last couple months on the John Mulaney show. Do you know that he did a commercial with Ray Lewis 10 years ago?
No.
All right, this is the Bill Hader episode. He does a monologue. He did a commercial with Ray Lewis right after his TV show got canceled, and he was all depressed. And they were doing this commercial.
Oh, I've seen that. I've actually seen Mulaney, talk about that. Yeah, like what does Ray Lewis say to him?
He gives him all this life advice and tells him I should go on a cleanse diet and to drink nothing but beet juice.
Yes.
Ray claimed at that point that he drank nothing but beet juice.
Right. Yeah, Mulaney's been that show is everybody's live with John Mulaney. Thank you. Yeah, that's he did the great thing about Belichick too.
Yes,
when he had Richard Kine with his girlfriend there, who was trying to interrupt the show, and he said, by the way, Pablo Tori very quickly has an interview in Vanity Fair. He's being interviewed, and you watch Succession, Hardy. Briefly, can you tell me the Logan and Carrie arc? Do you remember the Logan and Carrie arc?
Sure.
How is that relatable to the Vanity Fair person brings it up, and Pablo brought it up when he was on our show.
Logan is the patriarch of the family in Succession. Carrie is his much younger assistant and starts acting as a kind of like his handler, PR person. And then Logan tries to get her a job as an anchor on whatever their version of like Fox News, I
Okay.
guess, on Succession.
All right.
This is supposed to be like the Murdoch family, right? Yeah.
And she's hysterically bad, and people are afraid to tell Logan how bad she is, but Logan keeps saying it's like, how did the screen test with Carrie go? And I'm like, well, it's a work in progress. It's a project. I have nothing to do with this. This is not me asking, you understand. I'm not here. I'm not asking. I am not advocating for her. When all the while, that's exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And then there's the dust up with Logan's wife, who finds out about it because she's like a side piece. Yeah. And it gets very messy. Yeah, there is a lot of parallels and unfortunately, not a lot of it happens after Logan dies, when she shows up at the apartment, wants to get her things, and Logan's wife is there. It's like, no, you can't go upstairs. You're not going upstairs.
So I was going to ask how the relationship ended because I haven't seen Succession.
Well,
he passes away.
Sorry,
got it. All right.
Yeah, I don't think it's a spoiler alert.
No.
It takes up most of the the last season. Logan's death.
Since we're making comparisons here, I was just wondering how that particular relationship ended.
Well,
okay, got it.
Ended with someone's death.
Yes.
There we go.
Not a pleasant thing. But
That's
yes.
pretty good.
All right. Well, look. Now I want to watch Succession.
So Katie Nolan has been in on a lot of those Pablo Tori pieces that he's done about Bill Belichick, and she'll be on today.
Yeah, she's on at 9:00 today, so we can revisit some of that with her. We will be back in just a moment with everything that happened last night.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Imagine life with clear, crisp vision, no glass.
Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. All right, Hardy, what happened last evening?
Oklahoma City Thunder and Minnesota Timberwolves playing Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Thunder took Game 1 at home. At the half, they're up 58-50. And in the third quarter, it was just pretty much more of that.
Dort strips it. What a play by Lugans. Dort, a first-team all-defensive selection. Outstanding anticipation. Duck giving to Shea down the lane, floats it on the run. Banks it home left-handed on Alexander Walker and gets a bang for his bucket. Oh, what a play by Shea.
This guy sucks.
Wow. Goodness. Okay. Yeah.
Gets banged for his bucket, and Shea says, suck it. And they go 2 more here as the Thunder extend their lead.
He's also the guy, if you haven't been listening to us, who says cha-ching.
Thunder Moneyball.
Okay, does he do it every time? Let's find out. I'm pulling a random three-pointer here.
Thunder lead, shrivels to 4 again. Dub, fed, pulls up, fires, angle left three-pointer. Nothing but net. Cha-ching a Thunder Moneyball.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like
Gotta get that in.
Like Oklahoma City's not on the moon. Like I don't care who you are. That's horrible. You can't hear that every time. It's annoying in the arena when they spaz out about everything, but on the radio is inexcusable.
Is it every time?
3, 4, 3.
Well, John, yeah, he just played a random 3.
Yeah.
He just, it's obviously it's every time. And then when they dunk, he says something dumb too.
Okay, maybe not in the first quarter. I mean, he's getting all excited. Let's go back in the game. Let's do a first quarter three-pointer.
Dishes backdoor to Shea, kicking out right wing for Lou. He wants 3. Cha-ching is under Moneyball. Dort nails it.
Yeah, like if you're in your car and the game's on at 8 o'clock and you're like driving in the rain in Oklahoma City at 8 o'clock, you don't want to hear that at all. I don't know how naive he is too, and however, you know what, they just must not pay attention to the radio broadcast, because there's no way that people aren't annoyed by that over and over and over again. Just hearing the same term. And let's see how many threes they made yesterday. Not a lot. They only made 9, so maybe they were 9 for 33 from 3. Yeah. So say they take 40 threes, they make 18 of them. There's 18 times that you hear that. That's too much. It's too much. It's almost like an obsessive tic. Okay. It's like Tourette's syndrome.
So they win by 15. They're up 2-0 in the series. It looks like they have a firm grasp on this. So I'm just trying to put myself in a position where we're calling the end of the game, where now you take a kind of a commanding lead here. Will he be excited? I don't know. Maybe he'll show some humanity here and just say like, okay, this is fun. I don't know.
He also uses nicknames, which is annoying too.
Yeah. Most play-by-play guys don't do that.
You're not. I would imagine, John, you're not supposed to do that.
No, the idea is to constantly change your phrasing for different things to make it fresh for the listener.
But would you go dub to?
No.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that. No. That's very Bush League, it seems. Go ahead.
The number 1 seed, Young Thunder, rise at home in the Western Conference Finals to seize command of this series. Up 2 games to none now, holding home court with back-to-back double-digit impressive victories, winning by 26 in Game 1 tonight, a bit tighter, 118-103 to final.
That's not bad.
No.
That I can live with.
No, he just got an annoying voice, but someone's got to step in and say something. Let's try to get this guy on the phone, so I can coach him at least a little bit. And then John has done play-by-play. He can be my backup.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't. You can't do that over and over again. It's not cute. And then it's like your thing. Is he afraid if he doesn't say it, he's going to get hit by a car on the way home or something?
The only thing I can hope for his sake is that every 3-point shot is sponsored by something. I don't know why you would call it a money ball.
No.
So my gut tells me this. It would go one of two ways. He's not going to be a total dick if we were to get him on the phone.
No.
It's going to go one of two ways. He's going to be one of these absurdly nice, like Midwestern Plains guys, and he's going to laugh about it with us, or he's going to be such a dork that none of it will penetrate, and he's going to like stand fast to what he does. And it might come off as a little dickish, but it's not going to resonate.
Well, no. I don't think it comes off as dickish. I would just say, like, congratulations on everything with the Thunder. Congratulations on doing this.
No, not you coming off as dick. He won't come off as a dick. There's a chance he'll either be totally self-effacing and, flyover state kind about it, or he will be an impenetrable nerd. I don't know which one he'll be.
Right.
Those are my two guesses.
Because I just really want to tell him, like, you got to stop doing that. Like I can assure you, you might be getting feedback from people that it's good, but it's not. Like I guarantee you, most of your audience does not like that. That's what I would tell him. I would be like, you seem like a nice guy. If you seem like a nice guy, you seem like a nice guy. You've obviously been doing this a long time. You got to stop with this stuff. Cha-ching, because doesn't Crash every time he opens a beer twists his thumb around it 3 times and then pops it?
Yes.
He's afraid like something. It's an OCD. He's afraid something's going to happen.
Right.
I say bye at the end of every show. That's not even for me anymore. It's for the audience, mostly because I did it for so long that when I don't do it, I've had co-hosts, maybe even John or somebody. Crash used to always tell me.
Crash would freak out.
If I didn't say bye.
If you didn't say bye, yeah.
And then even the audience is like so used to it because it's 20 years now.
And how'd that work out for him?
That's a good point.
Listen, man, he's fine, man. He's still living. He's got a job.
He got pushed out the door by Wallach.
It was time for Crash to leave. Crash knew it was his wife at the time did not like it here at all.
You can blame me if you want. I have no problem with it.
No, it was not John's fault.
I'm just saying that your superstitions and your OCD habits are oftentimes not.
Well, yeah. Magical thinking generally doesn't work.
Sometimes though, Fred.
That's not what I was trying to. That's not the point I was trying to put across.
Well, that's what I took from it.
I'm just saying that, like, I wonder if it's gotten to the point now if he thinks he doesn't do that. And by the way, bye's just a one-syllable thing at the end of a show.
Right.
It's not like every 10 minutes I have to go whoop whoop or something like that, or I feel like that my parents' plane is going to crash.
Stand over there and lick the light switch every 6 minutes exactly.
No, but Crash had his habits. Crash had a lot of things going.
And it was funny. He was doing a habit while he was doing his habit.
Yes, very true.
Cha-ching it under Moneyball. Cha-ching it under Moneyball. Cha-ching it under Moneyball. That was nice. Cha-ching it under Moneyball.
All right. This guy, and by the way, this isn't like a 29-year-old that was given the job. This guy, Matt Pinto, he's called like Seattle Supersonics, Dallas Mavericks.
We looked him up. He's been doing it since the 90s.
Yeah, no.
They call him Pony Boy.
This is a 60-year-old man who's been at this a long time. So
is that what a Pinto is? No, I thought a Pinto was a small horse.
No, you're right.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought it was an Outsider's reference. I was
did
trying
I.
to wrap my
That's
head
what I
around
thought
it.
you were
No,
with
it's
that.
Pinto.
Gold, Hardy.
It was, it was even deeper a pull than you could even imagine.
Wow.
It was over both your heads. Adam got it. He's all right. He reads the dictionary.
He knows his early Ford models.
Well, I was going to make a Ford joke.
Problems with the gas tank.
I was going to make a Ford joke, but then I figured that I was going to go. I figured I'd go Pony Boy on the thing.
My dad had a kit car that was built on a Ford Pinto chassis. I'm like, odd choice for the kit car to employ the Ford Pinto, seeing how those were the ones that if you ran into the back of them, they had a habit of blowing up.
Yes, there was a problem with the gas tanks on those. My friend, best man in each other's weddings, has a Ford Focus kit car He's like
What?
obsessed with it.
Oh, the chassis is a Ford Focus.
Well, it's a
I
like
thought it's like no, that's not a Ford Focus. Then I can't afford that.
no. It's it's the engine though is like some like incredible racing engine, and like he got it because he was working for Campbell Ewalt, and they had Ford, so he had access to like this model that they only made a few of. But it's funny because maybe the kit car is not the right term, but it's a Ford Focus, but it's a stick like with a big stick shift, and it's got 6 gears, and it's just got this like enormous engine in it.
So it's still has the Focus body on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so it's not a kit car.
No,
it's the opposite of a kit car.
That sounds more like a Ford Focus Shelby edition.
It's like exactly. It's like a NASCAR. It's like it's funny, and he loves it. And it seems like the biggest pain in the ass to drive because it doesn't look cool from the outside either, but that's like kind of what he likes about it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you think it's like a piece of crap, and then he like goes and he goes like 200 miles an hour and he gets all excited about it. So I always find that fascinating. And he's had it maybe since my son's been alive. That's been his car.
Oh.
Yeah. Very strange.
I can't remember what my dad's kit car was. I want to say it was like, it wasn't a Bugatti, but it looked like it was like
I get
so old.
Did he put it together?
No, it sat in the garage for maybe a year, and before finally because he ordered it and they dropped it off like on 3 pallets in the driveway, and then I don't know how we moved him into the garage. I was little. I mean, I was, and then. Literally years later, he finally got somebody to haul it away and put the thing together for him. And yeah, I like drove it every once in a while. I drove my girlfriend in the homecoming parade using that thing because I thought it was cool. But it was such an old model car. There was no way that anybody would mistake it for the real thing. I mean, it was from like the model was like 1930s.
Yeah, you'll see those on the road, and like you can tell they're not the real ones. That was like cars, like not in a hillbilly way, like cars on cinder blocks in the front yard, but in Detroit growing up in that era, Hardy's dad was not on an island. Like maybe not kit cars, but even Jay, the guy with the Focus, his kid got him like say he turned 16 5 years ago. They got him like a 2005 Lexus, and the kid just went into the garage for 2 days and came out, and it was like completely like a different car. The kid, he goes to some school for it, but like it's completely different. But like there were a lot of kids, like Matt Dumas was going to drop an engine in, just a matter of time until he dropped an engine into this thing. And then he finally found one of those things that drop the engines in. It's like a real specific piece of equipment. It's got a chain on it that hooks to the engine, and then once he got it, he realized, oh yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. like I don't know. I don't even know how to put the engine in and where to put it. And then when I do, there's an awful lot of stuff that has to go into it.
There's that engine connects in a lot of different places.
Yeah, exactly. And in one false move, the thing won't run. That's the thing. It's a zero mistake game, or you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
I remember he smoked unfiltered Lucky Strikes. He's like 15 years old, smoked unfiltered Lucky Strikes.
He just wanted to go all in, apparently.
Yeah, he was just, he went all in. All in heroin.
Oh, okay.
All right, very good. We will be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drink.
friend describes himself in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the
Why someone who's got a bar full of people to worry about and is making drinks for waiters and waitresses and is making drinks for the bar. You know, sometimes bartenders are quite busy. And at a game, you're just pouring beers and asking for IDs. You're not, you know, like looking at them in the eye and shining flashlights at them and having them stand on one leg. I'm not quite sure why you, if that's what happened, I'm not sure how that's anyone's responsibility but the guy that got drunk and fell.
So, all I'm reading is the guy's name, who is 21 years old. Now, was he an employee there, or was he a friend of this guy who was buying him drinks and giving him drinks?
Oh, he was. Oh, I'm sorry. It was an. So it's good.
I
you
don't.
It's an under. A guy there provided an underage kid drinks.
Yes,
but he only drank 2 beers inside the stadium, and he was 20, and a 21-year-old kid gave him the beer. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's no leeway. Like, if that kid hadn't fallen out of the stands, which I don't think 2 beers causes, I don't understand how, in their Miller Lights, I don't think.
How drunk was he when he showed up? That kind of thing.
Well, 2 Miller Lights aren't going to get you drunk,
Yeah.
let alone anything else.
Yeah, that's like you said. Had he not fallen out of the stands, then nobody cares that this happens. Oh, well, that's a bad beat for the guy who's being charged with this.
I know, it's almost like it was a high profile. Well, not almost. It was a high profile thing, and they're just like looking for people to punish for it. When it's, you know, you're 20, you're an adult. You're not old enough to drink, but you're old enough to go to war, as they used to say during the Vietnam War, and you're old enough to do what Bill Belichick didn't have the nuts to do and join the military, and yet you're there with your 21-year-old friend, who, by the way, might be a week older than you.
You're older than Jordan Hudson was when she met and presumably started dating Bill Belichick. I mean, you can make major life decisions.
Of course,
you
can meet the man you're about to marry and whose legacy you're going to ruin.
Let's go to the Eastern Conference Finals for the Stanley Cup playoffs, where the Carolina Hurricanes are now in possession of a very impressive statistic after pretty much one period of play last night.
Verhaeghe shot. That's blocked again, this time by Martin Auguste. They score! And it's Carter Verhaeghe. Picked it up on the bounce. A power play goal. And the Panthers have a 3-0 lead with 4:10 to go here in the first.
3-0 in the first. They would go on to win. What was the final, Wallach? 5-0?
5-0.
Yeah, so Florida's got a 2-0 lead. They took both games in Carolina. John, I'm certain that you already know this.
Yes.
So we'll ask Fred. Fred, how many games in a row now have the Carolina Hurricanes lost at home in a conference finals?
I know it's a lot. Is it like 9 or something?
No. Higher.
12?
Higher.
Oh, 13.
14.
Yeah. Carolina's lost 14 straight Eastern Conference Finals games.
Home games.
Home games.
So
move them back to Hartford. Bring back the
excuse me.
Whalers.
No, not home games. You're right. 14-game finals losing
Yes.
streak. But, yes, the home games are what are, like, you can't get one at home.
No. And they gave up 10 goals in 2 games. That's the other part of it.
Swept against the Penguins in 2009, in 19 against the Bruins, 23 against the Panthers. This is the funniest thing. The last time they won a conference finals series was in 2006 against the Buffalo Sabres. So, yeah, this...
That's got to be very frustrating if you're a Carolina fan. A, that you have that hillbilly writing about you.
So, yeah.
B,
so I apologize for getting that wrong, Fred. You were probably right. It probably is somewhere like around 9 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I just knew it was a lot.
Somewhere, Kyle Bailey sheds a tear.
You keep making the conference finals, and you keep getting swept.
You keep not just swept, embarrassed.
Yeah.
That's the other part of it. It's one thing if you lose 4 games by a goal and a couple in overtime. It's another to do what you just did the first 2 games of this series.
Yeah.
They lost 5-2 and then 5-0. So
now you got to listen to Kachuk brag about it.
And it might have been natural for us to take a little bit to get going tonight. and it was the exact opposite. It was an unreal start from us. No, the goals aside, just the way we played in the first period was as good as it gets, and yeah, it's just a hell of a road trip.
Oh God. We don't have to root for him anymore, which is good. If you wanted to root for the Panthers for the Brad Marchand draft pick, that's fine, but that's over now. Charles Barkley did have something to say about Brad Marchand. Two very different feelings about two different Florida Panthers players.
Listen, man, that guy right there, I love watching Marchand. He's one of those guys you would love to play with. Yeah. I have nothing but admiration and respect for him. And let me tell you something. I hate Seth Jones. I really do.
Okay.
His dad, I played in the NBA for all those years. His dad was the only person who kicked my ass all the time. To this day, Bird was great. McHale was great. Karl Malone was great. Garnett, all these guys. And I could hold my own against those guys. I never had any success against Popeye Jones. And to this day, I have no idea why. I'm going to always hate Seth Jones because of his dad.
And that's during play?
I don't know.
It sounds certainly like it's during
Ryan says
play.
it was during the alt cast. They did an alt cast.
Oh, all right. Great.
Yeah, the alt cast is something I don't have a feeling. I have a feeling you won't be seeing much of in about 2 years. The alt cast is what's the word? Unwatchable of anything.
Any alt cast.
Any alt cast is complete nonsense. I mean, it's just. I mean, why we even watch the game? Seriously, why watch the game if you just need people talking about it? It's like Mystery Science Theater 3000, I guess, is why all this is happening, I'd have to assume. But the thing is that the movie is so terrible that the joke is that these are the jokes you'd be making. The idea is these are the jokes you'd be making with your friends if you were watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but imagine if your friends were comedians. So that's kind of the fun thing. So the idea is that the product sucks, and the way that it's fun is that it's so bad you're making fun of it.
The out of all the things that I like, and Fred, you and I have talked about this with your ex and with my wife, the things that we find funny and enjoy that they just have no time for whatsoever. I think you should leave. Is right there at the top of the list. Tim and Eric was maybe the all-timer, but the third in that triumvirate would be Mystery Science Theater, which I would sit down and watch, and they did a movie version of it that I remember. I'm crying laughing in the first 10 minutes because they're so funny and the ball busting is so good. And she's like, I don't get it. Why is this funny? I'm like, if I even try and explain why something is funny, then it's automatically not going to be funny.
Right.
How do you not find this funny?
Yeah. I didn't even watch that much of it. I just know the concept. Also, but things are better when they're funny. It's just if you're watching a game, like either I want to watch the game or I don't want to watch the game. It's not like Charles Barkley, and I think Charles Barkley's the greatest, but it's like Charles Barkley talking about the game over it while it's playing isn't going to make me any more likely to watch it.
I wonder if this is and I definitely see the connection between this and MST3K, which I'm a fan of as well.
Obviously, you shorted into it.
But yes, you don't like that. But I wonder,
I don't mind that.
I wonder if this is more of, again, they do these all casts to appeal to a younger demographic, correct? And younger demographics love reaction videos on TikTok and YouTube and all that. So I think it has more to do with that, like recreating that sort of format of a react. You have people reacting to what's happening, and that's meant to hook them in.
Then get people that aren't in their late 60s to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I think that's a huge stretch because reaction videos last how long? 20 seconds?
Some of them are super long. Some of them are like
not nearly long enough.
Not 3 hours long.
No, but there's a lot of reaction videos on YouTube that are to people reacting to like full songs or
Okay, Adam, that's like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's not 3 hours.
Do you know what Norm Macdonald used to do? Did you ever see him do this?
What?
We love Norm, right?
Wait, tweet during the golf?
No, he would do a show. It was a webcast of him at a desk with two other guys. One of the guys was a brother-in-law of a friend of mine that knew Norm somehow, was like a golfing buddy of his or something, and they would sit and watch the Masters, but they didn't have the rights to either split screen it or do anything else. So it's just a static shot of the three of them watching the Masters, and commenting on it. And it was unwatchable.
Yeah.
Because Norm really liked golf, and he wasn't doing it as a goof.
Right.
I don't think he was just, if I want to watch the Masters, I'll do a show of me watching the Masters. And,
we were in intense but talks with Norm Macdonald about coming out to the Deutsche Bank with us one year.
I remember that.
And it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was going to happen. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Bert Breer is going to be joining us in studio.
More.
first baseman Ryan Noda from the Angels for cash considerations. He was just designated for assignment by LA after hitting under 150 at AAA. The Athletic reported yesterday the Bruins will conduct final interviews for their vacant head coaching job next week, and a decision will be made after that. Marco Sturm, interim head coach Joe Sacco, and assistant coach Jay Leach are among those who have spoken to Don Sweeney. Jeremy Swayman made 20 saves in net. The U.S. beat Finland yesterday 5-2 in the quarterfinals of the Hockey World Championships. They'll play Sweden tomorrow in the semis. At the NHL playoffs, Florida now leads Carolina 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals after a 5-0 win last night. ESPN and others are reporting the Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson joined the team for OTAs yesterday in Foxborough. He took some time off, originally following the death of his dad. And league MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 38 points last night. Oklahoma City beat Minnesota 118-103. Thunder now lead the NBA's Western Conference Finals 2-0. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Lobster Lovers Weekend is back this Friday through Sunday. Order the colossal or hot buttered lobster roll and get a free 3-course meal upgrade. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side. There's a separation. Yeah. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Hey, if your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, The Sports Hub.
Great to be here. I never thought Boston radio would have me, but, I appreciate it. With the Colt Patriot rivalry through the years, we love you guys, and so many great memories in Boston town, and God bless Neil Peart. We miss him, that's for sure.
That's right. Jim Irsay, who sadly has passed, he was a fun guy when we talked to him. Bert Breer is a senior NFL reporter and lead content strategist for the MMQB. We can get to that in a little bit, I would like to. But first, Pablo Tori, we have Katie Nolan, who's on the Pablo Tori podcast. She's promoting another podcast, but Katie, I'm sure will have no problem talking about this. Pablo Tori's released a new podcast. Apparently, it goes over the Ring camera stuff. We will have a full update on that coming very soon. But we have Bert Breer from the MMQB and Amazon, their Thursday Night Football or whatever. Thursday Night Football, right? Mm-hmm. We from afar look at the goings-on in Nantucket, where there was an incident report from the December 6th Stroll, where Jordan Hudson showed up. Now, this is the tangled web that was weaved. Linda Holliday, Bill Belichick's ex-girlfriend of many years, common-law wife in a way. Her two daughters, of course, are DJs, known as the Hess twins, which if you already know. I'm sorry to over-explain things to you. And they're at this December 6th event called the Stroll. Mm-hmm. Jordan Hudson shows up, but not only with herself, but with another beauty pageant contestant. This one won something.
Miss Massachusetts, I believe.
And how did you know she was Miss Massachusetts?
Because I read it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known.
No, she was also wearing her sash.
Yeah,
she was
That's
announcing
right.
it to
Excuse me,
the
Miss
audience.
Massachusetts, USA.
Okay.
We don't want to fall into this bear trap.
Well, you guys got a cease and desist on
My
that, didn't
fault.
you?
Yeah, more than one.
Yeah, I don't know how they would really be legally. I guess playing the audio, I guess, could legally be but misidentifying something, I don't think is ripe for courtroom fallout.
At least it was worded correctly.
Yeah, like I think that you could go in front of a jury and go like, my bad.
Yeah.
Like I forgot the USA part. I'm not overly informed about the pageant community. And can you prove the fiscal damages to your stupid piece of garbage events that no one cares about? You have to be able to prove you lost something.
Yeah.
It's not just you're allowed to misidentify something. Like not like a pedophile, but like some event that sent a cease to desist. I don't think that's going
this
to
was-
burn that business to the
They
ground.
couldn't fire off that email fast enough.
Well,
This
no,
was Miss Maine USA that she was competing in, right? Not the actual Miss Maine.
I don't know.
Okay.
In the end, it doesn't matter.
Well,
because I would think does the other one feel does the other one feel like they're being defamed by being associated with this situation?
I have to take a call because this has come up before. This is about something else. All right, you two stop having a side conversation. Sully, go ahead.
Fred, what's up,
Here,
buddy?
both your mics are off. All right, Sully, hello.
Hey, Freddie, how you doing, bud?
Hey, what's up?
Listen, I'm watching your live stream, the chat. We're going over a couple
Go
of
ahead.
things. I watch it every day, by the way. I drive for a living.
YouTube, yes.
And it's obvious, Fred. Today's Friday. I mean, Monday through Thursday, you're wearing the Tigers hat. Today, it looks like the Auburn hair dye is just extremely
Okay,
fluorescent.
now I've heard this several times. I'll keep one thing on, is that I somehow dye my hair and that I dye it auburn.
Okay, can I address this? Because I already responded to an email about this. Somebody was asking about your red hair or something like that. I said, to my knowledge, Fred doesn't dye his hair. I've been accused of it, too, on the rare occasions when I don't wear a hat. Now,
and listen, I'm not knocking it. If that's
No.
Why would Can I ask you this?
Why would either one of us choose to dye our hair the color that it appears on the camera? It's a terrible color.
Bert, your mic's off because you misbehaved. All right, so here's the deal. Sully, let me ask you something.
Oh, yes, sir.
If I was going to dye anything, I have tried to dye hair before, but it was on my face, my white hair on my face. If I was going to dye my hair, why would I let the sides and back go gray and dye the top of my hair auburn? First of all, it's not auburn. It's just the way it looks on TV or on YouTube with the lights. But let's go through the exercise. First of all,
Can I cut in real quick?
No, because I'm going to ask you questions. I want you to answer.
Okay, got it.
And Joel, you misbehaved too, so your mic's off too.
Oh.
All right. If but no, you can't even shut up with your mic off. Jesus Christ. All right, but I want both of you out of the room. Sully, I'm sorry. These two idiots are talking to each other
let
loud.
him go. Let him go. Me and you, Fred. It's
All
me
right.
and you therapy session. Let's
First
do it.
of all, do you think I would admit it if I dyed my hair?
No.
Why? What makes you think that?
I don't know. You just at a certain age, you're a man. You're not going to just go on TV and say, "Hey, I dyed my hair red today." And
okay, then let's address that. Fine. You don't think I would? I think I would. But why would I dye my hair red?
The conspiracy theory in the YouTube chat is that Kendra's in studio today or Katie Nolan or something, and you're trying to look like a dapper young fellow.
Okay, well, Kendra's not in studio this morning, and Katie Nolan's not in studio this morning.
Okay, so that kills that theory then.
Okay.
But
why would I dye my hair auburn, and why would I dye the top of my head but nothing else?
That's the question. That's why I'm calling in to ask.
So do you think I have plausible deniability here?
Possibly.
Okay, because I have a feeling it's not going to stop any of you. So I don't. But I'm. How about this?
I don't think it is. But listen, I
swear to God, I'm not dyeing my hair. I swear to God, I've never dyed my hair.
Listen.
I have
Fred,
tried to dye my beard. Go ahead.
Fred, I wanted to call in just to get it clarified. That's all. Everyone's saying, listen, it on the chat, on the stream, if you look at it, your hair looks like it's a fox sitting on it.
Well, why would I make myself deliberately redheaded? The worst of all hair colors.
I don't know. You're asking questions that I don't know because I'm asking the question. How can I answer that question?
Well, no, but I'm asking you the logic of it, though. Like, your hypothesis is
because
off.
you might have woke up, took a leak, and said, "Look, I'm looking a little gray today. Let me get a little reddish. I'm going to take the hat off, and it's Friday.
I want to look like Scalabrini. I'm a big Donnie Most fan. I want to look like Ralph Malph. Like if I came in here one day and my hair was like black or brown all over, like I could.
Fred, can we do a vote and an honest vote? We get Bert.
Fine, I will allow their mics back on.
Okay, and then I'm going to hang up. Listen, have a good weekend. I just wanted to bust your chops.
No, I get it, Sully. But I have heard this before. Is anyone under the impression that I've dyed my hair?
No, God, no.
I thought maybe you did.
You did
maybe
a really bad job if you
maybe
did.
about a year ago. I think you did once.
No, I dyed my beard hair. I've never dyed the top of my
for
head.
Men?
Okay, never.
I did use Just for Men beard.
Yeah.
You comb,
because
you comb that stuff in? Is
yeah,
that how that works?
and you know what it does to a white beard? Nothing.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to show up with a black beard.
Yeah.
Because that's my thing with Ninkovich, who I love.
It's
but
jarring.
Ninkovich is
It's
jarring
jarring.
black beard. There's no
Yes.
way that's his beard.
Does he think you talked to him more recently than we have? Does he think he's fooling anybody?
That's never really come up between me and him.
But
so.
isn't it striking? You're standing there. This man's in his 40s now, and he's got a jet black beard.
I mean, I don't have any gray hair really.
Well, you're on deaf ears here, John. You're on some genetic freak.
Jesus.
But I will ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person who likes to get ahead of something. If I think that someone's talking behind my back, I want it out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
And I would certainly be like, I dyed my hair. Because if I dyed my hair, the whole point of it is how I look. I wouldn't care if anyone knew I dyed
That's
it.
the best part. You've been honest about your drinking and your divorce, but the hair dye stuff you're going to keep to
That's a bridge
yourself.
too far. Yeah.
and don't you think if I dyed my hair, I'd look a lot better than I look? What it is that I know I wear a hat most days, but I shower. Even Hardy said this morning, he's like, did you shower? I said, I showered last night. Don't worry about it.
Like, I don't think it looks. I understand why women dye their hair.
Yeah.
I totally.
Oh, no,
get
you got
that.
to if you're a
I
woman.
totally get that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think like with guys. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why you would. Like, I wouldn't if I had that problem. I don't think.
Yeah, there was a moment where I was like, I wonder if I would look younger if I dyed, because my beard's just completely white now. And I wondered if I dyed it, if it would look, if I would look younger. And first of all, it didn't work. And second of all, it's such a pain in the ass.
I think in most cases it's obvious when someone's doing it too.
But I would admit it. I would be like, I dyed my hair. And then I would be like, because I want to look younger.
That's the part when you ask Sully, like, do you think I admit it? No. I'm like, well, then Sully, come on. You listen to the show every day. You know Fred's going to admit to virtually
I admit
anything.
to shaving my back. I admit to, I mean, if I don't know why this would be outlandish, but like trimming my genital hair, I there's a lot of things that I shave my back. I'm not good about it, but I do.
So I said this to Tom, who had emailed in this morning, who asked, does Fred dye his hair red? And I said, I don't think Fred dyes his hair. Looks normal and mostly gray in person. These lights for the cameras do weird things. They are absurdly bright.
I also would like to know why I would dye my hair red, which wasn't even the color of my hair. Like, I'm not a redhead at all. And why would I pick that out of all the colors?
What did Scalabrini say?
But I think
people love the red hair.
Sometimes if you
lying.
dye your hair, it comes out weird, doesn't it?
Yes, that's what happened to my beard.
Where it could come out like if you could have brown hair dye, but like for some reason it comes out in your own hair is red.
But this conspiracy has been going on for more than today.
I mean, I wouldn't call your hair auburn if that's the question.
Well, because you're looking at me in person.
Yeah.
And it
The
looks
camera does
different.
something
Well,
to it, yeah.
the lights are shining down, and I don't have like I have a head of hair. I don't have like bald spots, but my hair's not like a luscious, thick mane of hair. Like it looks different when it's under the lights. But to be honest with you, if I had dyed my hair and it came out red, that would have been the first time this was alleged, which was months ago, and I never would have done it again, and it would have grown out by now. I don't want to walk around with red hair, but I think it's funny that. I also think it's funny that, like, since Kendra was coming, I was going to go out and dye my hair before she came in.
That's right. You got to
Really spruce yourself up.
Like if Kendra and I were this whole notion that we're hooking up, like, don't you think it would have happened by now, or I would have stopped trying? It's a very long game I'm playing. It's several years long. I'm leading a path of crumbs. And I'm trying on different hairstyles and hats to see
what
until
really...
she'll finally take the bait.
Oh, well, since you're a redhead now.
Even if I had asked Kendra out like 10 times, like, don't you think I'd be over asking her out by now? Like, I'd never asked her out and we've never gone out. But don't you think that by now something would have happened? Like I would have shot my shot or something like that, and it would have been obviously most likely 99.9% rejected. It's not happening. And then Katie Nolan, who's married, like, I think Katie Nolan, and even if she wasn't, like, I'd be like, I gotta dye my hair, Katie. No one's coming in. I'm gonna win her over today.
Dye my hair the night before and then not wear a hat.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm gonna do. People think so highly of me. Well, I guess if you think that I could get Kendra, Katie, Nolan, you think that I'm.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess
That's
maybe
a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I'll look at it in a positive way.
Game.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe I'll tell you it that way. All right. Look, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have time to get to the Stroll, but you're here for an hour because I do want to talk about Jim Irsay. I do want to talk about the Stroll.
Yep.
And if we have time, I'm not overly interested in what happened in the league meetings, but that's a fallback if we need it. All right. Thank you. We could address Harrogate. Sully, thank you for calling in. I do appreciate it. I know that there's many conspiracies going on in that YouTube chat. I do not watch it, so I like Sully when you guys, sometimes Riz brings them to my attention via email. I feel that you guys are on my team. And I like to address these things, to confront them head on, as someone might be watching the YouTube chat for the first time and think terrible things about me that I could maybe clear up. Some maybe would be true, but some I could clear up. So that's where we're at right now. Thank you. We'll be right back with Bert.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
this point in the game, we're just really trying to focus on ourselves, individual improvement, continue to build the identity that we try to talk about, and that's where my focus is today.
That's Mike Vrabel, but we will not be discussing him at all in this segment. This is Bert Breer is here from MMQB. Pablo Tori, Ryan is feverishly going through the new podcast as he's doing a full investigation on the ring camera video, the greatest video ever released, of Bill Belichick with his shirt off.
Any early reviews?
Pablo took it very seriously, as I can tell you, is that he went down to the place. He physically went to
where the site
ring,
of the ring cam?
Side of the ring cam, which in fairness I've known because I was sent the Google Maps from a guy that lives there.
It's like Winthrop, is that right?
South Shore, I don't know, I can't remember. Or was it South Shore or North Shore?
Sorry, I'm so used to my mic being off. I thought it was. I think he's right. I thought it was Winthrop.
Winthrop, Winthrop is, I guess, technically North Shore because it's north of the city a little bit, but it's near the airport.
Right over
Not
the airport,
really
right?
North Shore.
Yeah. It was by the airport.
Not
right.
really
Yeah,
North Shore.
and it was a place Bill Belichick wouldn't be like owning property or hanging out. All right, but a place he does hang out is Nantucket, and as we found out, there was a big thing. There's something called the Stroll on December 6th, and I was getting to before I had to take.
So do you guys know what the Stroll is?
No.
It's basically when all the summer people come back for one weekend
to
and all the
ruin
stores
everyone's time.
reopen, and so like, I mean, for the people who actually live there, it must be the most annoying thing in the world.
It's got to be terribly annoying because why?
I thought
also
we were done with these people until Memorial Day.
Yeah, and like
So
what's
it's the first weekend in December, and like everyone comes back, the restaurants and all that reopen. And so, like any place like Dreamland would reopen for that.
So I have to, if I have a restaurant that hasn't been open, I have to restaff it.
You don't have to, but I think it's a big moneymaker for them.
That's asking a lot. I got to for 2 days.
Everyone has to take the damn ferry over for a weekend in December.
Yeah, I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if that's financially viable.
People love it. The people love going, and you figure if they're making next to no money for every weekend after mid-September, let's say you get a few stragglers.
Yeah.
If you can open up and make enough money to pay your bills for an extra couple of months. Yeah, I think it would be worth it.
If I could do it on a staff that lived on the island, that seems like it would be a good idea. But I mean, running a restaurant is not just turning on the lights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to get the produce and everything else. I have to have that shipped down. I have to have that delivered. I have to get everything turned back on. I have to get my staff back in. I can't bring them in the day we're opening. Right. I got to bring them in and get things prepped. So I have to have a big lead up. It's like even a catering company is operational year round. They're just, it seems like a bit of a stretch, but I don't doubt they do it. And I don't doubt that a lot of these businesses that reopen are just owned by dudes' wives or women's husbands that have nothing else to do. And so as part of the Stroll, they just unlock the door. Go ahead.
And then Dreamland is actually, I think most of the week it's a movie theater. And so, like, the fact that, like, now they have events there, they'll have concerts there, they'll have, stuff like that, like stuff like whatever the Hess twins were putting on there.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that, like, that place has, did an incident report, it has, like, letterhead or whatever for an incident report was interesting.
Yeah, so if you don't know what Bert's
because I would
talking
think
about.
of an incident report being something that would be filed by police.
Yes.
So if you don't know what he's talking about is there was the Stroll in Nantucket and Linda Holiday's. I feel like I'm over-explaining it because you already know that Linda Holiday's twins are the Hess twins, the DJ crew.
Right.
Very
on
big.
The ones and the twos.
Yeah, they're in Ibiza. They're also producers.
That was really smooth.
They did a couple tracks on Illmatic. They did a couple tracks on Illmatic. They have a big pedigree, and they were DJing. And so who comes in? But Jordan Hudson, and obviously that's not a good thing. And she comes in with Miss Massachusetts. How do we know it was Miss Massachusetts? Apparently she was wearing her sash. She came in with her sash.
Never hurts to be recognized.
Sort of like wearing your letter jacket to the mall in high school.
No.
Right.
It's kind of like wearing your letter jacket to an NFL game. like you're Miss Massachusetts in a sea of like stupid millionaires. Like, get out of there with your Miss Massachusetts.
It's kind of like wearing your marathon participation medal to the Olympics.
Yeah,
exactly.
Did she wear her crown too?
Not that I saw, but she.
Tiara, please, Bert.
Yeah, and it's not a crown. It is a tiara.
It is a tiara.
It's a tiara.
Who knew all this was going? And this is so good for the pageants. It's really getting everyone interested. And Linda Holliday said, hit the bricks, sister. But she didn't stop there. She said to Miss Massachusetts, you better watch your P's and Q's because I have my talons in the pageant industry, which led Miss Massachusetts into an eruption of tears, according to it seems like all very, very adult people doing very well-adjusted things.
According to the incident report, she explained to me that her companion, Ms. Sapini, was seemingly threatened by Ms. Holliday, saying that if Ms. Sapini valued her current title, she should think twice about who her friends are, and that she, Ms. Holliday, had many powerful friends in the pageant organization.
So is Linda saying like she could get Miss Sapini stripped of the title of Miss Massachusetts?
Well, this is this is an issue in the pageant community is the heavy-handedness of the Illuminati. Is that a lot of times if you look at the sash for Miss Massachusetts, there's a lot of hidden messaging in there.
Yeah, there's the eye above the pyramid.
Yeah, there's bankers in the mountains. We won't get into it, but
Right.
there's a whole situation happening with the and it's been and quite frankly a lot of speculation why Miss Hudson did not Jordan Hudson did not win. Miss Maine was the talons of the Illuminati into that community. The ring camera people knew this Pablo Tori thing was coming out, and the heirs to that fortune were very involved.
It's the Vatican, it's the Kremlin. There's a lot of fingers in that pie.
Let's just say that smoke that blew out of the Vatican the other day was not unrelated to the pageant community.
I really think the media in general has like come together in a really impressive way on the pronunciation of Jordan's name too.
No, they're saying Pablo Tori says Jordan, so I'm just doing it for effect now.
No, it's okay.
It's Jordan, but it was
he's a journalist.
It was funny that when people were saying Jordan, but what is great about this story is while in the meeting while Adam was
What's great about this story is everything.
That is true. What's great about the story is when Adam was babbling before the show, I was reading a Vanity Fair interview with Pablo Torre. So it was in Vanity Fair. It was in the New York Times on Monday. Like, the idea this isn't a story is comical because if you're saying it's not a story, you're the one. like when the New York Times, Vanity Fair, like this isn't just the Daily Mail and the New York Post who write about me for Christ's sakes, or AI writes about me.
The Washington Post did something too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So like these papers of record are doing it, so it is quite fun. And we will today at least have whatever he said, Pablo Torre, and then we have Katie Hudson who's on that podcast.
Nolan.
Katie Hudson. I'm sorry.
She was pretty good on the original Pablo. Podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everyone loves Katie Nolan. So we'll get to talk to that. So if for those of you who missed yesterday when we didn't talk anything about Belichick, today will be a great thing. How often are you in Nantucket, Bert?
I go for a couple weeks a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not in.
I'm not in I'm not like in like Felger probably is in, I would assume.
No,
like I'm not in.
He's been a long time part-time resident.
Yeah, no, I go there I go there for a couple weeks every summer to go to the beach, go to the restaurants, all of that, but I'm not like in the community.
I'm sure, and not to defend Felger, but for the people who have been going there for a long time, I'm sure I would feel totally different about that place had I 25 years ago had the money or the foresight to like buy an additional property on that place and spend time there every summer. And the people who have done that and have been there for a long time probably don't love all this extra stuff that comes along with, going to Nantucket.
Oh, I think that it's all about the extra stuff because I would have sold and made my money and gotten the hell out of there as quickly as possible and gone somewhere. If I was going to enjoy the ocean, I would go somewhere where I would collect every dollar on the overpriced dump that I had and go buy a good place somewhere else where because I wouldn't be concerned at all about what was going on there.
But if you don't have to, if you don't need to collect the money and the value keeps going up and up and up, and you have a place that's now paid for that you can go to, and you know the island and you know people there,
I would sell it, take the profit, take the money, buy something else, take the leftover money and invest it in something else, and not have to deal with Nantucket at all.
The key to me, like, it's a beautiful place. The key to me,
but there's lots of.
What about the
places.
Lyme disease?
I think the key for me is like that is when you go there, knowing where to go and knowing how to avoid all of what you guys are talking about. Like that's.
Well, you're a veteran now. You know.
Yeah,
ins and outs. You're all set to go.
Look, I grew up going to the Vineyard, and I think some of the same things exist on the Vineyard.
Yeah, but the Vineyard is big enough where it's not all like that.
No,
like the Vineyard is the Martha's Vineyard it's not all like that. And what's funny is people like Newport is like that. And it's like sure, but it's also a million college kids getting wasted down that street. Like
Vineyard, different towns, different vibes. It's
Vineyard's
true.
got the
you got the Alan Dershowitz, America's Lawyer, playing nude volleyball, red pubes. I would imagine all those things happening.
Yeah.
Again, Alan Dershowitz, it does, as a matter of record, play or had at least in the recent past played nude volleyball on one of the nude beaches. It's a dry town, so you have to pick your poison. If you want to see the Dersh nude, you're not going to be able to go to a bar.
Which town on the Vineyard is dry?
I think that's Vineyard Haven.
Vineyard Haven, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Aquina is the beach he's talking about.
Yeah, because Vineyard Haven's way different than
John
like
knows.
Edgartown, and Edgartown's different from Oak Bluffs and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Oak Bluffs is not necessarily that great. It's not that nice. Edgartown's nice, but who knows about old money there? All I know is that a girl that I knew in college, when I was on Facebook, would put up these elaborate, like party. Bert, Jesus Christ!
Go.
Sorry. Would put up these elaborate, like pictures of these parties, and then sure enough, when I met someone that did business on Nantucket, I'm like, "Do you know so and so?" And not only did they know her, they knew everything about her. They knew everything about her ex-husband. They knew everything about the whole surrounding thing. Like, it's a whole situation over there that seems awful. It really does. I'm not just saying that. And there was a time where I could have gotten a place on Nantucket. Just in a million years, I never would have. I would have gotten it somewhere else.
There's a lot of things that are great about it, but I think you have to go a few times to figure it out and to like understand where to go and what to avoid. And like I said, like I think you guys know me well enough to know like I'm not real big on the scene that I think Fred's describing. But that exists in like I grew up going to Edgartown, and Edgartown's got the exact same thing.
Not the exact same thing.
Not the same.
Edgartown is a lot of the same stuff that Nantucket has.
But it's not
the
to
difference
that
is
degree.
Nantucket's like people from all over the country, which is like makes it a little different, but
Nantucket's a different animal.
The mean income's a little higher in Nantucket,
and
than
it wasn't
is in
that way
Edgartown.
25 years ago. It became that, I think. That's the other thing I would say.
I wouldn't know.
25, 30 years ago, when in the 90s, like I would say that the two islands were sort of
really
closer. Yeah, I think it's changed.
Okay,
quite a bit. That'd be my perception.
Do you know better than I, apparently?
Well, anywhere
Well, no, I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying that'd be my perception. Of
it. I'll tell you this: it doesn't seem like cool. Like, you know, like there's like scenes that have wealthy people in them that you look at it from afar and go, wow, like all these cool people are there. Like, look at all these cool people,
Yeah.
like these artists and musicians and like all this stuff. Like, that seems cool. Like so and so's there. Nantucket, it just seems like pieces of garbage that I would not want to be with at all.
So are you saying like I don't know, like would you be describing like St. Bart's or something like that then? Or
Even St. Bart's is too disco-y for me. But I'm talking about like
what about Coachella?
Yeah, right. I'm talking about like a Manhattan, like a scene in Manhattan, like meet me in the bathroom stuff from Manhattan, like a scene that's cool, where like not the actual Warhol, not the factory, but like all that New York of that era, like that the Bret Easton Ellis New York, the Jay McInerney New York. Like, that seems like super fun. It was all like cocaine and fun. Like that would have been something from afar that I look at and I read about it and I'm like, wow, what a time to be alive and like what a scene to be in. Like, there are places where in moments of time that seem super cool. Like, you know, LA at different times in different scenes. Like that seems like wow, imagine being in a room with these guys. That all seems like that. But yeah, St. Bart's has got rich people in it, and St. Bart's is I would imagine a very, very many steps cooler than Nantucket, but it's still got that
like similar though in that,
vibe.
Like, it's like Nantucket's kind of hard to get to. St. Bart's is really hard to get to,
right?
Because you can't fly there. You know, like so. I think it's
more international douchebag than it is
domestic
than just domestic douchebag. But I'm sure there's lots of international douchebaggery in Nantucket too.
Yeah, I would just. Again, like it's a beautiful place. There's a ton of stuff to do. It's just you have to know where to go and how to avoid it. We've actually got kind of a circle of people that we hang out with there too that I think are more our speed.
Yeah, right. Bunch of losers.
Then like the pathetic social climbing that like I need to be seen at this party doing like I have no. You guys know me well enough to know I don't have time for that.
The girl I knew in college is very attractive. I'll tell you that. Matt, go ahead.
Hey guys, first time calling in, but Vineyard Haven is on Martha's Vineyard is no longer a drive now, so that's exciting.
Oh, they changed it.
Okay, can I ask you this? So, can Dershowitz still play nude volleyball? So he should choose.
He can still play nude volleyball over in Aquinnah. There's
All right.
There's a beach there.
As long as the blue laws don't affect the Dersh, I'm okay with that. I would imagine he would be on top of that though, in strong arming the city council if they were going to change anything about that. The idea that he's playing nude volleyball is so funny. I'll go on YouTube and just watch clips of him talking about things, so I can just look at him and go, "This guy's playing nude volleyball."
Yeah, hard to take him seriously after that.
Oh, I take him very seriously.
Okay.
The Dersh appeals to all political backgrounds.
Okay.
The Dersh, is he still teaching at Harvard? Because I wonder if there's like an underground Skull and Bones nude volleyball game that goes on.
Someone's really got it in for Harvard lately. I don't know if you saw that news drop yesterday. There's I don't know who it is, but they've really got it out for Harvard.
It's Donald Trump, and it makes me sick. It makes me sick.
Coming up next, I'm going to tell you why.
It makes me sick. Honestly, I don't really know what's going on, and I don't read about it because that matter does not concern me. Harvard's got $20 billion in money. They don't need. I'm not overly concerned about the federal money.
It's not the money. It's the foreign students.
Yeah, I know that seems a little weird, but to be honest with you, I just saw the headlines today, so I will not opine about it. But the idea that Harvard is somehow like hamstrung by lack of federal funds, it's like, well, your alumni control everything. Have them give you money. I mean, it seems vindictive of Trump, but again, I'm not. Of all the institutions that I'd cry for, Harvard would probably be the last on my list. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone. We are Toucher and Hardy. And Bert does not often call me, but he called me the other night while I was at the 2.5-hour baseball post-game banquet. And afterwards, I called him back, and he said, do you mind if I use your name in an article I'm doing about Jim Irsay? And I said, of course not. And I thought it was well done the way he did it, is he was using our show as an example of, kind of like teasing, making fun of Jim Irsay. Bert was nice enough to get him on the show. And once we had him on the show, he was great. We talked to him for like an hour. He was real open about everything. And he was a very authentic man, which I value. I think that's one of the great qualities in people that I admire is an authenticity to them. He's kind of the anti-Belichick in that regard. And but from what I'm hearing, Bert, I heard
than any of the other owners, if that makes sense, because he played at SMU. He was a general manager at one point, and obviously he was in that role because of his dad, but it's part of it, and I said this to you guys off the air, like one of the reasons I want to use that story was because I think it was a good example, a really good example of how most people would poke fun at him and then they would get to know him or they would get around him and they would wind up liking him. I think he was a hard guy if you got around him not to – I think he'd have a hard time not like ending up being like, you know what, like this is a good-hearted guy. He gave so much. Like the area of mental health, which I think was, he struggled a lot with, which is why it was his cause. The amount of money he gave to that is, enormous. So he did a lot of good, but I think he was also like genuinely like there's a good person inside of there with all the demons and everything else, and he had no problem being human about all of it.
Because
and a lot of these guys want to carry themselves like they're senators,
and
like
that's
they're
the thing.
Dignitaries. And like there was none of that with him. And I think the best example, Fred, is like that owners meeting 3 years ago in New York, and this was at the height of the Snyder stuff. And if I remember right, that was the meeting where some of the ex-cheerleaders showed up, right?
Yeah.
And like basically said like the sexual harassment was off the charts in the building. And I remember at that meeting, it was like other owners were taking like backdoor exits out of the hotel so they wouldn't have to walk by the media because they didn't. Like, I don't want anybody digging through the skeletons in my closet,
Right.
so I'm not going to say anything about this. I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. And these guys are all surrounded by 15 PR people who are telling them to shut up and finding the escape route from the hotel for them. And Jim Irsay comes walking down the stairs, and I was one of the first people who walked up to him. So it was like me and 2 or 3 other people. And he immediately went after Snyder. And he immediately said, like, this is a bad look for the league. Like, this is not good for any of us. And where Roger Goodell refused to say anything cross about Dan Snyder until he was officially out, where the other owners, again, were taking back exits. Like, Jim Irsay decided the right thing to do was to get to go out there and say something about it and be human about it. And he had his skeletons, too. And he was like, fine, dig through my closet all you want. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make what's going on here right. And I had a ton of respect for that. Like, I thought that was like...
I have a ton of respect for that, too. And the thing is that, people go, well, he's a billionaire. He doesn't have anything to worry about. Well, he had a terrible childhood, I'd imagine. His dad was a deplorable alcoholic. And not that making an alcoholic makes you deplorable, but he seems to be a deplorable guy.
His arrest wasn't fun. Remember that? That was very publicized.
Yeah. And when he moved the team, he was drunk and yelling, and he was, I guess, a very abrasive guy and not a very good guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Irsay grows up around that. And just because you get a lot of money, it doesn't fix your childhood, and it doesn't cure all your problems. In fact, it can give you access and a little bit more rope to get into trouble than you normally would get. So, when it comes to addiction, when you have limitless income and you have, a lot of ways that people will protect you, that makes falling into it deeply easier even.
Yep.
So, I hate that narrative of like, well, the guy had money. And it's something I had to learn too. Because I used to go, what does he have to complain about? He got a lot of money. And he's like, well, that doesn't mean that it doesn't fix your brain.
Yeah.
It doesn't immediately like whitewash your brain.
Right.
You could go to therapy for the rest of your life and not, it doesn't fix the issues that you have. It can help you deal with them, but it certainly doesn't fix them.
Yeah, and I just think like deep down, like this was again like somebody who was really likable, really human, did a lot to help people. The people who worked for him, and I texted with a bunch of them, right after it happened, right after the news got out on Wednesday night, and just talking with and the people I know that coach for him, like the GMs, guy Chris Ballard, Ryan Grigson, like guys who've been fired by him, and what they would say, and I think you hear over and over and over again, like he cared about people, he cared about his family, he cared about his friends, he cared about his team, and like I can remember this, like I'm sure some of you guys had the same experience. My dad, when I was growing up, like would constantly refer to the Colts as Baltimore, like when I was a kid, I think the Colts had like no identity, and what football's become in Indianapolis like was largely happened under his guidance. They got a Super Bowl there, they have a new stadium there. We all go there every year. People in my business go there every year for the combine.
It's got the Big Ten games. Yeah,
the Colts, like, and I think like, so he's established Indianapolis as a really viable NFL market, and he had a big hand in that. I mean, beyond that though, like, I look at what you're talking about, Fred, and that to me is like he changed the perception of his last name. What that last name meant. Oh. Like when he was a kid,
his dad was
the
not a
Mayflower
person.
Trucks leaving Baltimore in the middle of the night, and this drunk, degenerate, like
unapologetic.
Everyone hated him. Yeah. Everyone and like I think for all the demons that Jim Irsay, like he changed the perception of his last name, which is, I think, that's an enormous accomplishment. You know what I mean? Like for all the things he might have done wrong in his life, that's an enormous accomplishment.
And let's put it this way: everyone's got their crap. And it doesn't have to be something as obvious. Everyone's got their crap, and everyone, that has that empathy and then also that self-awareness to know that they are or I am not above my own inadequacies and my own problems. That's the way Jim Irsay was, which I think is an admirable thing. So
I remember, like my dad said to me when I was little, like, show me how you treat somebody who can't help you, right? And I'll show you who you are.
That's good advice.
And I think Jim Irsay is a good encapsulation of that, because I don't think he treated, say, Robert Kraft or John Mara or Art Rooney. I don't think he treated those guys any differently than he treated the guy who's working in the equipment room. And I think that says a lot about who somebody is.
Yeah, I think it does as well. Well, Bert, it's a great article. It's up on MMQB. You can read about it. He was given that assignment as he's the head honcho writer over there. Also, this Amazon thing kicks off. Bert's profile gets very, very high. Yeah. Rich Eisen is now on ESPN, and he's a regular guest there. He's a regular guest of Dan Patrick. But this show is what he's most known for. Out of everything, it will go on his tombstone. Or the midday show, and then us.
And I need to hustle down to the car right now, guys, because I need to listen to the preeminent Jordan coverage in America, which I think is going to kick back off here right after.
Well, yeah, we were first on it, but Pablo Tori is the Woodward and Bernstein.
I'm saying this show.
No, I know.
I appreciate that.
You're right. But I was clearing it up because I wanted to be
Jordan Hudson source.
Right. Our show was the first to realize the
gravity
of this relationship. Pablo Tori has taken the torch and is doing the hard-nosed investigation, and he has new information that we will get to in just a moment. Thank you, Bert. We'll be back in just a moment.
This 4-game weekend series begins today with a day-night doubleheader. Last night's rainout will be the afternoon game with Brian Bayo getting the start, and then Lucas Giolito, the guy who was supposed to pitch last night, will go this evening. The Sox also acquired first baseman Ryan Noda from the Angels for cash considerations after he was originally designated for assignment. He's been sent to AAA Worcester. The Athletic reported yesterday the Bruins will conduct final interviews for their vacant head coaching job next week. A decision is due after that. Marco Sturm, interim head coach Joe Sacco, and assistant coach Jay Leach are apparently among those that have been spoken to so far. Jeremy Swayman made 20 saves in net. The U.S. beat Finland 5-2 in the quarterfinals of the Hockey World Championships yesterday. At the NHL playoffs, Florida now leads Carolina 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals after a 5-0 win last night. And ESPN and others are reporting the Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson joined the team for OTAs yesterday in Foxborough. He came back after taking some time off due to a death in his family. Sports Up headlines are brought to you by 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, the company that finishes every job strong. If your home or business has a plumbing, HVAC, electrical, or drain issue that can't wait, you need to call 128 now at 888-CALL-128. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Is elongating.
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
It's pretty clear to everyone that's been paying attention you've been dyeing your hair red for months now to catch the eye of blind Scott. Much to the Belichick request of Jordan to wear red pants in the crowded practices, you've been asked to dye your hair red so Scott can somehow make out your appearance on YouTube. Scott's very mad at Nick, by the way.
Why?
If you noticed, he hasn't emailed recently. Nick was not taking his calls, he claims, and that was he was furious at Nick.
Well, if you mean recently, you mean since 6:12 a.m.?
Oh, he hasn't emailed me at all today.
Oh,
no, he has.
Oh, yeah. I got 5 of them right here in front of me.
Yes. We play the Hold Steady because it is Girls Go for Status, and we like the song. All right, so here's the deal. Pablo Tori, our good friend, who's Katie Nolan will be on with us at 9. Pablo Tori was kind enough to do this show. He is an inspiration to me. He has been able to, he's way smarter than me and more articulate, so he's been able to kind of explain this whole situation better, and he's attacking it as a Harvard-educated reporter would. He does an interview in Vanity Fair, and here's how he describes his look at the Belichick-Hudson relationship. When he's talking about the CBS interview, he says, I was not surprised, but I was in awe. If there can be a nuancing of the reaction, I was not surprised because I've been hearing stories like this. I was in awe of the things I'd been hearing. I was in awe that the things I had been hearing were so manifest in this on-the-nose, almost scripted HBO comedy sort of way with this feature on CBS Sunday Morning, which wanted to do a puff piece and ended up being unable to avoid the actual lead story, which is a very articulate way that I couldn't read right, ironically. A very articulate way of putting what I had been saying all along. CBS this morning, it's almost impossible a feat. It's like winning the lottery that she was able to manhandle that. Like, you'd have to be so outrageously bad at your job that you were almost like being on purpose, you were trying to ruin it. That was an easy situation made incredibly difficult by an idiot.
Won't get any easier.
An idiot working for an idiot, quite frankly. I mean, in the world of PR, she's an idiot. There's no other. I'm not being mean. She is. And Bill Belichick is obviously an idiot outside of football.
I don't know that anybody. I guess some people probably go into PR and have like some natural aptitude for it, and it's not something that you learn right away. But she's got obviously no experience for it, and seemingly no instincts for what a good PR person is, and she's doing a horrible job.
Well, a lot of PR people are attractive women, so maybe she thought that's all you had to be. But there are also you can be not good at it and not do what she did. I mean, you have to also be incredibly arrogant and think that you're far more intelligent than you are.
I would think for a PR person, it's much like a doctor. First, do no harm. Like, maybe you're not the best PR person if you let your client go out there and hang themselves on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But what you really can't do is make it worse for your client by what you do.
Right. Like a bad PR person would have like not talked to the CBS This Morning and had like a handle on things, but they would have at least had the lack of self-confidence or the wherewithal or social skills not to interrupt the interview while it was going on, just to kind of go, oh boy, and nothing even happened that required that. I guess a bad PR person wouldn't have coached what to say when this inevitably was asked. Would be what a bad PR person would do.
Yeah,
and then kind of shrink back while it was happening and go, oh boy, I'm in trouble, instead of arrogantly, dismissively to the CBS network telling them that this was off the table, which Edelman said is just what PR people do, which is so funny because it's just why did you say that? It's so wrong, and he knows it's wrong.
You don't play for him. You haven't played for him for how many years?
But there's a way to defend someone without just saying something entirely that even my mom would know is wrong. Hey. Like my mom isn't fluent in PR, but my mom's an intelligent person. She would know that this isn't supposed to happen. My mom's 82. She's the audience for CBS This Morning. It's not like my mom saw that and went, "Oh, this should happen." Like it's something that that they're not being even vindictive. Like you would have had to push them so far to get them to include that. Like you gave them a reason to make a big deal about it. Anyway, let's get to it. We have Max on next, so this might take 2 segments, and then we'll have to go into Katie Nolan. There's going to be a lot of Belichick.
It's going to bleed to Monday.
Yeah, this is going to be good stuff. All right, first of all, Pablo, this is just so fun and so great. All right, so Pablo Tori, who's the best, it wasn't enough just to see the Ring camera, which we enjoyed, and I do think justifies the internet and all the harm it does in a way. Pablo Tori, he went to the actual home. Like I knew where it was and had seen all the angles, but I never went there, and I live here. Fantastic. Pablo Tori flew in and went.
Awesome.
This is how good he is. Yeah. Here he goes.
I decided to take a trip.
You went to the town.
Shut up, Pablo.
You've been to this house?
Pablo.
If you show me a ring cam video with you.
Pablo,
No!
What the fuck? Pablo, what the fuck?
This is crazy.
Pablo, what the fuck?
I found the Airbnb listing, which had been taken down previously. It was not the same one, but I was matching photos. And I wasn't sure if it was the house. Like, how could you really tell? It wasn't exactly, screenshots of the Ring camera video that we had shown. But the smoking gun did reveal itself among the reviews.
Oh, my God. Jordan from Chatham, Mass.
Oh, my God.
July of 2023, 5 stars. Great spot, great views, great host, great value. Thumbs up emoji.
So this genius is banging Bill Belichick on the sly. Decides to leave a review for the Airbnb. This PR, this shrewd manipulator of media, put things on Instagram, get famous. Bang old famous guy, get on Instagram, get famous, check. Now I know how to do it all. You have an Instagram account and you banged an old guy. Those are the 2 achievements. Let's take the next step slowly. She's reviewing the Airbnb that she was banging Belichick in.
Put my name on Yelp and Google reviews.
Yeah, why don't you just put it on an escort site, how good Belichick is at banging, how long it takes. And I'm not inferring she's an escort. I don't think she is. I honestly don't think she is at all. But
somebody did. But again, we got a lot to get to here.
Oh, boy.
And that review encouraged me to rent this Airbnb. Wow. At this point, I'd like to take you on a tour.
I'd love that.
Of my vacation getaway. So here I am in the foyer. There's the curtain in front of the washer dryer. This is the door to the kitchen.
Great.
It's
What's
very
that
nice.
Called? Railroad style?
It's very nice, railroad style, long hallway. And we're at the end of the property. This is about 700 square feet. There's some nautical theme stuff you may see. Very clean, very nice. Opening up of the sheer curtains to the bedroom. And
it's a railroad style house. The whole place is.
And there is
in one straight line.
It has a college dorm sort of scale to it.
Yeah.
It is the downstairs apartment of a house
That is what it feels like. Yep.
Winthrop, Massachusetts.
Winthrop,
of course.
Of course, Winthrop.
Just outside of Boston. And when I took this tour and I got the gist, I was like, I think my work here is done. What happened was...
Just when you thought you were out.
The upstairs owner was like, I want to introduce myself.
Oh?
She came downstairs, stopped by, and for better and for worse, recognized me.
Oh, dear.
At which point I said, hi, would you be willing to answer a few questions about your property and what seems to be the most famous porch in Massachusetts? And provided that we kept her anonymous and just used the audio, she agreed.
Oh, my
God. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I'm stopping there.
Oh!
I'm stopping there because we'll talk to Cedric and then we'll come back.
Wow.
Okay.
I have a moment to kill, so I'll take this, Ben, because I do want to stop here because I want to.
Major league tease.
I don't even want to know.
Oh,
I don't even want to know. I don't want to know anything.
Fred.
Just real quick, Fred. You're not getting the visual of this yet. You'll get to watch it later on, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
As Pablo's taking on the tour, he does like an old school gag in the bedroom where they've got the long shot of him standing next to the bed, and he's looking at the bed. And then he does the slow look up to the camera.
You're going to like it.
Whoa.
Nice, nice. So that is where they, you would imagine, consummated things, and where he took his shirt off to show his hairless man boobs. Ben, go ahead.
I don't know that he's hairless as much as it's that translucent old man hair that he's developing.
I'm getting there. Ben, go. But I think that I always will be. It will always be obvious that I am a man. If I chopped off Belichick's face and legs, you couldn't with all certainty tell me that was a man. Ben, go ahead.
This is incredible. I'm loving it. But I just had to say, just to call back to what you've said in the past, Fred, I mean, you completely changed my perspective on Bill Belichick, right? At first I thought, genius, just socially awkward, idiot outside of football. I think he's just a complete idiot. I mean, how dumb can you be? You have a writer who's going to write your book for you. He's going to write the book for you, right? Nobody writes those sports books. And he says, Bill, give me an anecdote on Tom Brady. Give me something specific about Tom Brady that no one else would know. Oh, he's just really competitive.
Right.
He just wants to win. He wants to do so much better. Say anything else. Tell me anything. Oh, in the film room one time he pointed something out to me, and I didn't see it, and then we won the game. Great. Everyone would love that. But no, he says, generally he's competitive. I mean, that's just stupid.
Or he saw a tell, like this corner in this game. Like it could be something. It could be like some coaching nerd stuff. Like he saw a tell in this game that Asante, Sauce Gardner. I know he didn't play against him. I'm just trying to think of a corner.
Whatever.
Order was like moving his right hand when he
Sure.
was going to be doing this certain kind of defense.
Yeah. No, it's tell me a Tom Brady story, which the one in the book. Oh, yeah, Tom always wanted to win. But we'd win by 30, and he'd say we could have won by 40.
Wasn't that awesome?
I'm starting to question, because we always just assume that coaches are like way smarter than us because like they've had success at this high level. But I'm starting to wonder, like, if these, because I think of the guys who coached my high school football team, they were morons, real idiots. So I'm starting to think that maybe some of these guys are just idiots that just kiss the right asses. I don't know.
At the same time, you have a Patriots fan calling up saying that he loves this, and I don't think there are any Patriots fans left that can separate the two. The great head coach and this story.
Well, if they can, they may go elsewhere because I can't, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. No, I get what you're saying.
Regardless of what station they listen to, it's impossible to separate the two things now.
If you're insisting on it, then I have no time for you. You know what I'm saying? This is transcended feedback.
Yes.
I've told you this. For the first time in my career, I really could care less of anyone except for you guys, the five of you. I could really care less about anyone else's interest in it. I find it to be fascinating, and I trust my instincts because every time we've been talking about it, another legitimate news source like the New York Times writes a real New York Times article about it.
I know.
It's transcended TMZ.
It's not Page 6 stuff. It's the Washington Post. It's the New York Times.
Because it's not just it's. It's funny. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. I know I went long when I shouldn't have, but this is the end. Is that they were like, I don't care at all about the Karen Reed trial, but I do care about this Belichick thing. And the thing is, obviously, it's very sad someone died, and that's terrible. And I love police officers and all that. But Karen Reed is just some lady in Canton. Bill Belichick, there's so much about this persona that he forced upon everyone in such an arrogant fashion. He was such a bully. He banned people from the facility for asking normal questions. He was a dick. And what's coming out about his past is he was like not so great with women, but and willing to pay to get them away. But the thing is that it's such a fall from grace. All this manufactured persona was just a fraud, and that is what's so great. Cedric Maxwell is an authentic human being. He will join us for the final time this basketball season in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Rick Hoyt, unable to walk or talk, wrote on his computer.
Times are tough. The news, your job.
All right. We are Toucher and Hardy. Cedric Maxwell, of course, the all-time Celtic great time broadcaster of your Boston Celtics, now a man. And Adam has the sponsor.
Yes.
Adam, go ahead.
The Boston Celtics playoff coverage on 98.5 The Sports Hub was presented by Charles D. Sheehy. For over 70 years, Charles D. Sheehy has been your local leader for pipes, valves, and fittings. CDS can offer you the solutions needed to keep your project moving.
There you go. Cedric, now he's a man on vacation. Cedric, hello, sir.
Hello, gentlemen. How you doing? I'm actually in Maryland, outside of Baltimore, headed southbound and down. And that didn't really sound, I don't think that sounded like James Taylor. That sounded like Atomic Dog. So, the intro wasn't a good one.
Okay. It was.
That's on me, Cedric.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Adam is asleep at the wheel. He was playing a generic bed, actually, that time. He was playing a generic bed. And Adam takes such pride in curating the music for this show, and he was playing just a generic sports up bed, like a fool, like an idiot, like a fool. All right, well, listen, Cedric, I apologize for that.
No problem.
All right, look, the Knicks fans were annoying, everything else, but alas, the season is over. If you're the team, the league is different. That you can't have a ton of stars on your team anymore. There's all these aprons, and the league doesn't want repeat champions. First of all, I'll ask you about that. What do you think about the league and wanting this kind of parity? Do you prefer like the dynasty, like the Bulls teams, the San Antonios, or do you like the way the league is doing things now?
I like some of the parity, but I did like the super teams. I like when the Celtics and the Lakers were the last team standing. The Bulls, the way they dominated. I think there's nothing wrong with having great teams during eras because I think people have a little bit more to cheer for. Do you like a team like Oklahoma coming up now, the way they are? Does it help the NBA? But it also helps the fact that the New York Knicks are finally playing well enough to be relevant again. And anytime that does not hurt your status for the NBA.
Okay.
Okay. And in terms of like the super teams too, Max, I think that maybe there's a misconception that it hurts viewership and it hurts interest in the league because we've seen it in other leagues when somebody is dominant and in other sports, it doesn't hurt. It actually helps because everybody automatically knows who that team is. And if they're still involved, which they often are, as super teams are, that helps maintain interest because you don't have to introduce casual fans to a new group of players and get them invested. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that in terms of like just the general interest from fans when super teams are a thing?
That was as grandy as you've ever done. You gave me all this explanation. You went down the line. You explained the whole thing, and then you asked me, "Hey, what do you think?" I was like, "You were spot on. You put it correctly." And the fact that, there are times that the parody is one of those things, but you don't have to. You didn't have to introduce anybody to the Lakers and to the Celtics during the 80s. You didn't have to introduce anybody to the Bulls. You knew every player on these teams, but it helps maybe some of the other casual fans when you think about, Oklahoma or Seattle. But I happen to like the teams that are dominant, and you punish these teams right now by having a really great team by saying you're going to divide everything and everything has to stop.
The Celtics do have a super duo, and the speculation around here, Max, is that maybe Jaylen Brown isn't on this team next year, and they reset while they wait for Jason Tatum to come back. Do you believe that could be the case?
I don't think that's the case, John. I really don't. I think that they would, but in the new NBA, I wouldn't. Who knows? I never would have thought that Luka would have been traded. But I think you are doing a reset. Where you have a chance to reset this team and think of you is Brown the other, Batman and Robin? Do you want to get rid of, Robin? So I think there's an opportunity. But if I am a betting man, I would think that Jaylen Brown would be a guy who would definitely be here. And you build around those two core players, and you can kind of go from there.
Can Jaylen Brown be a Batman while Tatum is out?
He has to. I don't think there's no other way. If you think about his development, I think if you looked at Game 5, I think it's one of Jaylen Brown's best games of the year. When Tatum was out, he was a facilitator. He set the table. What he didn't do, John, he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't get himself in sticky situations. He was very, very under control. And the thing I loved about his game, he had 12 assists in that game, and he had about 6 or 7 rebounds, and he had a couple of steals, but the turnovers were, small. So he'll get an opportunity to do and develop other aspects of his game, other facets of a game when you don't have that dominant player around.
Okay, Max, I'm going to try this again. I'm not going to answer my own question and then ask it. I'm just going to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay, here it is. Why is there even a discussion about Jaylen Brown and whether or not he can do it next year? He did it in the conference finals last year. He did it in the finals. You just mentioned Game 5. What is there in terms of comparing him to Jason Tatum that allows there to be this question as to whether or not he can be the guy?
I've had a lot of people say the same thing to me over and over about Brown. Some of it is just some people think he's too cool for school. Some people think he's too intellectual. There's so many things that, that people nip and take away. When Marcus Smart was here, one of the best defenders we've seen, but people didn't really like him. They didn't appreciate him. I thought that Brown would get a little bit more appreciation since he came off the MVP last year and he did what he did. But it just seems again that he's in a whole nother side of what he needs to do and trying to kind of just please people.
I thought you had something. I thought you looked at me. I thought you had something. I apologize.
Don't look at John unless you're going to speak.
No.
Oh, you didn't have your hand
up. I didn't, but I have a question to ask Max. As a guy who watches a lot of basketball all winter, now that the season is over, are you watching it anymore?
Absolutely not, John.
You don't have any interest in it?
I mean, I normally what I do with most other sports, if the Celtics aren't playing, I will get the Cliff Notes and see the highlights and kind of go from there. But you gotta realize, guys, I do probably over 100 games a year. I've done I don't know how many games, 2,000 or 3,000 games as a broadcaster. Played so many games as a player. So for me, the opportunity to kind of get away is really a good one. So I love the game. I still like the game, but I just kind of want to get away from it sometimes. I mean, this is my 30th year as a broadcaster, as Sean Grande would say, and 25 with him.
Let's get to Sean Grande.
Okay.
You did a beautiful job interrupting him during his dumb sign-offs that he does. You did a fantastic job, but he did say this. You know what, Adam? I'm sorry to make you do it. I'm going to play the whole thing. Let's do this with Cedric. We have time. All right, here are the last 50 seconds of you guys on the radio.
All right, this was year number 24 for us.
All right, right there, you're the best. You just shut him up. You want to shut him up so bad. You don't want him crying.
It was over. The party was over. There was no longer trying to. The horse was already dead. Okay, let him go on. Let's make some glue out of him now. We're good. We don't need any more. Right. We don't need any more analysis about what happened. Bye, folks. We'll see you next year.
I love it. All right, I'm just going to play some of this here because he addresses the show. Here we go.
All right, this was year number 24 for us.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great summer, and we'll see you next year. Stay healthy.
You know how I feel about all you guys who try to sync up with us and stay with us. I don't want to say too many nice things about the fans or the aggregators and the clowns on morning shows. We'll make up a whole story about me leaving. So
Now, what is this making up a story about him leaving, Cedric? That seems disingenuous at best. He was crying for a reason last year. I can take the slings and arrows of Sean Grande, but this notion that he had no notion in his head that last year was his last with the Celtics seems a little disingenuous.
Well, I think that, and you listen to the last broadcast, I love you, we've done this, we've done that. There was a picture that was being painted that Sean was possibly going to be gone. So I didn't know where he was going with that when he said that you clowns on the, on the morning show made that all up. Well, we happened to all be sitting there, and we all had ears. So I did kind of hear some of the things that Sean said, but they did not work the way, didn't work out, and he was back again. So, but to kick at you guys as if you did not hear what he said, that was a little crazy. Well, he goes out of his way. I told him, I said, why do you go out of your way sometimes to go just, hammer people? It doesn't do you any good.
Well, listen, I appreciate that. And, I think I don't know you very well. I think you're absolutely fantastic at what you do. You're, and everyone does. And, and your legacy is great. And I don't.
Way to blow me. I love that.
If that's an invitation, Cedric, hachi machi.
Hey, I do what I do, man. I'm sorry.
All right, but I want to tell you this is that I think that I could take. I'm in the business. I don't mind you insulting me, but this notion that I made all this up about that being like what the hell's wrong with him?
We did
why say anything? I agree with you at that point. Like, why say anything? I didn't make it up. I was having meetings in here. I didn't make anything up.
I mean, I think that when I tell Sean sometimes, Sean, the fire is already out. Don't pour gas back on it. Okay, you're gonna set it aflame again. It doesn't. So I don't know. I guess he loves the fans. He loves doing what he does. We've had a great run. I'm not saying it's over by no means. I don't know what goes on, but in last year when we were talking and we had won the championship, he did happen to go out of his way with the "I love you" and we da 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 da. So he did paint a picture that was like, hey, there's a good possibility I won't be back. So I'm sure that you did not make that up because I was sitting there with him.
All right. Well, Cedric, we'll let you go.
Yeah, you've got a big summer coming up, Max.
Yeah. Mr. Maxwell is probably going to get a Mrs. Maxwell this summer sometimes. That's right. And come back with, it's kind of crazy, though. I keep thinking about it. I'm getting ready to turn, in November, I will be 70 years old. And I'm talking about remarrying? Yeah. I think, what the hell is wrong?
That's the time to do it. That's the time to do it.
What is wrong with me?
No. You got someone now that's going to be there when you need it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the time. Perfect. 20 is not the time to get married. 30 might not even be the time to get married. The time to get married is 70.
Second marriages are wonderful.
Why don't I just wait and do what Shannon Sharp does? Just grab one of those 18 or Bill Belichick. Is he engaged now? I heard
he is engaged.
He is. Yep.
Wow.
Christmas time.
God.
Christmas time.
Oh,
it looks like.
My God! You get okay.
And but he's already given her $8 million to buy property around Dorchester, so he's done that.
Wow. Yeah. God bless him. What a guy he is. But I keep reading about these guys who are, that far out of their age, and it just seems a little crazy to me. Shannon Sharp with somebody who was, 19 years old, 20 years old, whatever she was. They Bill right now. I don't know the relationship, but with her being 20-something and you being,
73.
Let's get a number. 73. It just seems to sound kind of a stretch to me. I mean, I'm not sure what I would have in common with a woman that age unless we're just human beings. That's basically about all I can say.
Well, at least Shannon Sharp's in good shape and like doing cool stuff. Bill Belichick's an old gross dork, and so like I can imagine that it's quite a catch. All right, Cedric, you're the best. Have a great nuptials. You've been fantastic all season long. I can't wish you more happiness than I am right now over the summer, and we look forward to getting with you next year.
All right, gentlemen, have a great time. And, I give you the last little tidbit. I believe in this NBA that's going on right now, since John wants me to talk about it. I think that the Pacers are going to be the team that's going to win the championship. I think they are kind of on a run. They are well coached, and I just don't think that Oklahoma has enough championship experience the way you're going to have with the Indiana Pacers.
All right.
All right, Max.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right, Cedric.
All right.
Have a great one.
All right, gentlemen.
Take care,
All
Max.
right, bye-bye.
All right, take it easy. There you go. And he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even pretending. I don't understand why Sean felt the need to say that we made any, or me, basically, that I made anything up. I'm not going to make you guys get in trouble for it. I didn't make anything up. He thought that was his last broadcast, in my opinion. I have reason to believe that. A, what he said, and B, meetings I was in. I don't know why that has to be. It's like a fact. You can't sue me.
Fred, I
was in them. Like, I know they happened.
Fred, I would like to speak to you in my office.
No, Rick's smart. Rick what's he going to sue me? Like, dude, I was in meetings. Like, he didn't get fired. He was never going to get fired, but I believe he didn't think he was coming back. That's all. I believe that. I have reason to believe it. I believe it holds up. Cedric is co-signing on it. There you go. I don't know why he said what he said. I could see saying I was a piece of crap and not funny. All that may be true. What he said is not true. Okay. There you go. All right. We'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headline.
said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
Oh, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay, here's more Toucher.
He's investigating this. He's going full on. I've just been making jokes about this for over a year. Pablo Tori actually went to the Airbnb that Bill Belichick's famous ring cam footage, the justification for the internet, was filmed. Now, when we played the last clip, it was just him informing the show that he had gone, and just a tour of it. It was like a railroad style, I guess it's called, which is one line, like a one hallway with very dorm-like, he described it as. And we also learned that Hudson, in her brilliance, left a 5-star review of the Airbnb that she banged Belichick in secretly. So good. I mean, it's a collection of great minds. It's like a Sherlock Holmes novel.
And if you try and convince yourself or explain that away by saying, well, at the time she was just hooking up with a guy and she didn't have designs on becoming famous, or it's, oh, stop it. This is what she's about. She's into beauty pageants, and she was with an older rich guy before, and now she's getting with another older rich guy. You don't think that, like, her plan for a long time has been to get famous virtually just for being famous?
Okay, let's go the opposite of it.
That's what she wants.
Let's take the opposite stake. She doesn't want to be famous at all. All right. You're banging a guy that's that much older who's that famous. Okay. You still don't want that information out. Like, there's no scenario doing that what she did is not dumb. No. Like if I was me, I wouldn't care because like what it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not even old enough for any of this to matter. But like if I was super famous, or if I was, say I slept with a woman that was like super famous, I would know, like, she probably doesn't want this getting out, so I certainly wouldn't be. I'm a dumbass, but I'd be smart enough to know not to leave an Airbnb thing in my name. Are you crazy? All right, so this is Pablo Torre talking to the landlord of the Airbnb Belichick was in was very much his style. It was the bottom unit of another place. It was like a rented out apartment of another place. So he talked to the owner of the place.
I got good news and bad. The bad news is I have no idea where his shirt is.
Oh, damn.
Because here exclusively for the first time is the other video.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Okay, this is another ring camera. He got other additional ring camera footage. There's a lot to this. I'm getting it piecemeal because of the way the show is structured. But this is him looking at the other ring cam footage.
I got good news and bad. The bad news is I have no idea where his shirt is.
Oh, damn.
Because here exclusively for the first time is the other video.
Oh, my God.
He has a satchel.
Yeah, it's got a little merce.
A work bag, right?
No, he's got now, is it a fanny pack?
Oh, no. This is like an old school leather, like 1980s satchel that you would see like in a... what's the?
It's almost like a doctor bag.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Midnight Run, Hardy. Like they'd be taking that bag, all over the place in Midnight Run. Your favorite movie.
Yeah. Well, he has to. Hey, Papa. He has to divide his pills by the day, and that can be cumbersome.
Yeah.
There's 7 days in a week, and regardless of the amount of pills you have to take, that can be very cumbersome. And probably there's nothing hotter to a 19, 20-year-old than taking out your medicine calendar.
He's got it slung over his shoulder, no shirt on still. So it's shirtless Belichick with the satchel.
And again, with the satchel, I then defy you, really, if he took his head and legs off, to be able to definitively say that's a man. That is a point that I will take to the grave. If I showed that to you on a lie detector, could you tell me that if that was a man or a woman just based on the torso, and add in the womanly bag, which is very effeminate of him, and almost a little making him endearing to me because he's not afraid to show his feminine side, which I think is a very nice trait in men.
Yeah, it's got a little merce.
A work bag, right?
He is very shirtless.
It's going to
He has like a leather
It is a high
satchel.
bikini, isn't it?
Okay, so he's still topless. Absolutely yum yum delish.
Great. A bag with a leather strap that he's clearly not figured out how to tighten because it's looped in a way you definitely wouldn't be choosing.
Yeah, I have a feeling Bill doesn't know how to do a lot of things. Like, I have a feeling like Bill doesn't know how to do very basic things. Like, I'm not even talking about Hardy levels of handiness. I'm talking about, like, screwing in light bulb stuff. He's a real moron.
And a hydro flask.
He's holding one of those steel
metal flasks you put water in, and he puts it down by the wheel well.
Well, it's not prune juice. I mean, I would imagine that after a long night that
keep yourself regular.
Well, I mean, he probably took her to a meal, and who knows what they ate. There could be a lot of. I mean, you can't just sit there with his waste in him all day.
Mm-hmm.
He needs the prune juice. So he has what you're telling me is he's wearing a man bag. He's still shirtless because why not unleash those puppies? But he's shirtless, but he's also carrying a hydro flask and a purse.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's clearly not figured out how to tighten because it's looped in a way you definitely wouldn't be choosing. And a hydro flask.
He's holding one of those steel
metal flasks you put water in, and he puts it down by the wheel well.
But I would say he looks, and this is sort of normal for our guy Bill, he looks kind of disheveled. Even if you saw another man at that exact same age in the exact same state, Bill has a little bit of disrepair to him.
That is I just woke up hair. That hair has not yet been vertical to the point where it falls. It's like it was just up against a pillow.
Bedhead.
Yeah. There you go. Bill, after a night out. Now I have to see this video. Do they show the video?
Oh, they absolutely do, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's time-stamped, I think, at like 6 a.m.
So
this is early morning Bill.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
you get in the first video just him coming out, looking a little confused. There's more movement. There's more sadness. and for you, joy that you will derive from watching this.
Well, it adds an interesting point. Why did he go out the first time and then go back in and not get his clothes on and just grab a couple things and then go out again? It seems like he had to get his wits about him.
It is what the hell happened? Where the hell am I?
Yeah. So what that tells me definitively is that the first time he went out and was like, "What's going on? Where am I?"
Yeah.
Then he went back in and grabbed his stuff hastily, came back out, and was still a little bit like, what's going on? Because how many times have you gone on the front porch of somewhere, looked around, and then gone back in?
Okay, I think the timestamp might be the clue. He might be trying to avoid the walk of shame. He might be trying to get out of there. He's going out the first time. Let me see if anybody's up doing a beach walk or whatever else, because they're right there on the beach. Okay, let me grab my crap and get out of here ASAP before anybody's up.
I got news for you, Adam. Getting out there on the porch the first time and looking around isn't a good way not to be looked at. How about a window or something of that nature? Like, why would I go on the front porch to see if anyone was around before I went on the front porch? I mean, he's obviously doesn't know where the hell he is. Now, is that related to chemicals or just his brain? I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, I could only hope when I'm in my late 60s, early 70s that there's moments I wake up and have to figure out where I am and how I'm going to get out at 6 in the morning. I'd like to think by that time I'm having sex and, like satisfied enough with the situation being okay where I don't have to, dart out and look around confused. Like, if that's the situation, I would like to think that I'm, like happy I just had sex. Like I don't everyone come look at me. I've had sex. No. Like, hey, look at what I just did. I just had sex. Like, what? Yeah, it's Fred Toucher.
Look what I accomplished.
Yeah, it's Fred Toucher. Yeah, there's a girl in there. Yeah, I banged her. Yay! And it went well. Like, we're still friends. Like, everything's cool.
I don't have to leave.
Yeah, like in the Airbnb, leave. Like, we had sex consensually and we're still friends. That's what I want to know. That's how I try to leave things with women I make love to, if I do. Is I like to after it's over, both of us happy that it happened.
Always
I don't know if
positive.
they're fully satisfied. That's out of my control. But at least, hey, I'm glad we did it. Oh my God, he's disgusting. He's disgusting. And I know, because I am too. And I don't want to see myself on a ring cam video. All right. We'll be back. Katie Nolan's going to join us, so can't wait. She's in on these things.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sport.
FBA's Western Conference Finals. Sports Hub headlines are proudly brought to you by the Albrecht Auto Group, Zoe's Auto Dealer. Get respect at Albrecht. Now 8 locations, including the all-new Subaru of Wakefield. Thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles, all at the right price at albrechtauto.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Get the
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app. Half Toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Sports Hub.
Yeah, that's what I do as I stay focused on football and some of the other opportunities that come along. Jordan looks at those and can dig into them a little bit deeper. But really, what she does helps me spend my time on football, and that's what's important to me.
All right, we're in contact with Katie Nolan, and we're trying to get her hooked up. It's not necessary she do it on Zoom, but whatever. We're Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. I have a listener send a screenshot of the Belichick video from Pablo Tori Finds Out, and I'm putting it on Instagram. I want to get, and I'll give Pablo Tori all the credit, and the listener, thank you so much. But I'm looking for the perfect song. So maybe you two could help me. I want something that's very sexual, but also old, very old. Now, what would something to you that explains eroticism? Or is there a song about boobs?
Barry White's got to have something.
Nope, too new and too obvious. Is there a song about breasts? Or what would you put as the song? This is the question as we wait for Katie Nolan. I'm really I struggle with this sometimes on Instagram. What would be something? How in song would you describe what's happening with Bill Belichick?
Maybe you could just play a Dolly Parton song.
I like that.
Jerry Lee Lewis, somewhere in there.
It's too on the nose.
Okay.
If you're talking about the cousin thing,
yes,
it's too on the nose.
Okay, all right.
And I don't want to insinuate he did anything illegal.
No. But the age difference is what I was.
Yeah,
going for there.
I get the reference.
Yeah.
And it's clever, but it's a little too on the nose.
Okay, all right.
And I'm looking. Dolly Parton's a good thing. Does she have I don't know much about Dolly Parton other than I used to defile myself to her often when I was a kid on the Bob Hope special.
Yeah, I think it takes one too many leaps to get to the breast connotation.
Is there anything?
I saw her standing there by the Beatles.
Going Blind by Kiss. Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do.
You just figured it out?
Yeah.
All right.
Going Blind by Kiss.
Not Christine 16.
No. Because that does the. That's too.
We had a memorable interview with Ace Frehley at one point discussing that. And
yeah,
I'm sure. Was he apologetic about it?
Nope.
No.
As a matter of fact, he was championing the cause, if I remember right.
Grief.
Oh, they don't have Going Blind on here.
Oh, that's too bad.
Oh man.
Let's do Dolly Parton, Jolene.
Jolene's
funny.
Oh man. What is something that invokes shame? Do we have any ideas on that? or privacy or what camera? How about
see that's
Freeze Frame by Jay Giles? Is that too on the nose?
Oh, that's not bad. Plus, it's a fun song.
All right, let's go Freeze Frame.
Boston fans will love you.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Boston
placating.
fans will love you.
I'm placating the
locals.
Jesus, they don't have that.
That seems pretty easy. That's pretty middle of the road. How could they not have that?
Am I spelling freeze wrong?
Two
Perhaps.
E's.
Yeah, there's Freeze Frame by Freeze Frame.
What? Did you put the song title before the artist? Sometimes that screws things up. You got to put the artist then the song title.
Okay, Jay Giles. The Jay Giles Band.
Right.
Okay. All right, freeze frame. I found it.
There you go.
Okay, there it goes.
That's right. There you go.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
everyone knows it.
That'll
okay.
work.
All right.
Thank you. All right, now what's going on with Katie? Do we not have her?
We're going to get her on the hotline here shortly. So
Okay, well then what am I to do? Do I have time to get into more audio from Pablo Torre or no?
No, because that'll take us down a rabbit hole.
yeah.
All right, well this is kind of
You can
everyone's.
take some calls. We actually have some calls that are waiting if you want to
All
take
right,
some calls.
Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Fred, how's it going? Hey, I know you were looking for a song. I don't know who did it originally. It's an old blues song. I know Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes did it. It's called It Ain't the Meat, It's the Motion. And it's about girls with big boobs. I thought it was actually about a guy, the size of a guy. Because, the girls always say it ain't the meat, it's the motion. But it's actually about girls with big boobs. But it's a great song.
Oh.
Okay, all right, I got it. Now how do I go back? All right, I got to do that. What's the song called?
It ain't the meat, it's the motion. Sung by the Swallows.
That makes sense.
Makes
All
your
right.
daddy want to rock. It ain't the meat, it's the motion. It's the movement that gives it the sock. Now, I had a girl so doggone thin, no meat, no bones. She was just all skin.
It's. I don't see it. All right, I got to do this after the interview. There's too much going on. I was given too much time, but yet not enough to find the perfect music to accompany the photo.
Unfortunate, but true.
I like our caller though. What an intelligent caller
Yeah, it was pretty good.
with such a knowledge of music. All right. Anyway, everyone loves Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan is featured in a lot of audio we've been playing today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, yeah.
Katie
Oh,
Nolan.
no.
Oh, please. Katie Nolan launched her new Sirius XM podcast, Casuals, earlier this year. Casuals is a sports podcast for everyone, from the sports curious to the sports obsessed, which I could co-sign on. This show is not very knowledgeable in sports, but Katie is much more knowledgeable. Next Saturday, May 31st, Katie will be doing a live broadcast taping at the WBUR Festival here in Boston with special guest, John Hardy knows, ex-athlete in Boston who has time and time again given us no credit.
Oh, that would be Brian Scalabrine.
Of course, Brian Scalabrine.
Yeah.
Go to WBURfestival.org to attend. If you can listen to you can listen to Casuals wherever you get your podcasts. Brian Scalabrine, we made him, and then he went on Rolling Stone and said he had his own radio show. And
Katie, make sure you question him about that thoroughly.
Yeah.
Okay, specifically, I will. Hi, Fred. Good to see you.
Hi, Katie. I can't see you because I don't know how to operate the machinery involved. But
Good to hear you.
Yeah, people are speculating that I dye my hair red. If you want to get in on that,
It does look. I wasn't gonna say, but I was gonna say after to somebody else that it does look. Your hair looks different.
Yeah, it's apparently a red dye, and to which people have been questioning if I dye it. But then I asked two questions: is that why would I dye my hair red? If anything, I would try to run from that as much as possible. I am a Ralph Malph fan, but not enough to cosplay as him. And second of all, I just admit it, but I don't dye my hair. I don't.
It's the lights, Katie.
And I'm old, Katie.
And it'll do that. It'll do that. I will say, if you tried to dye it brown and it's very gray, it might look red. So that could be.
Well, that's further
what
evidence
happened.
that I'm dyeing it. I don't like that,
Yeah,
Katie. You
sorry.
didn't help me at all. You just
Ooh.
made it more obvious that I'm dyeing my hair. This is not going well. All
My
right, Katie. All right, you're also on Pablo Tori Finds Out. I don't know if you know, we had Pablo on. He's a inspiration. I love Pablo, what he's doing so much. I love you as well. You're on it. I love your reaction when he told you that he had gone to the Airbnb that Bill Belichick, the Ring camera footage was on. You just exclaimed the F word over and over again, which was my reaction as well. Like I've been talking about him with this girl, and not because of the age difference, which I would assume lots of rich guys and powerful guys that are older sleep with younger women. I don't know why that's fetishized, but it is. Old guys do that, whatever. That's not a big deal. But this story, Pablo explains it so well and articulates it so well, is like almost like an HBO comedy about an arrogant bully that then loses this position, and all of a sudden all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, it's first of all, I love Pablo. I think he does an amazing job. It is the first time I've ever had to experience live journalism where he'll just tell us to come in and won't tell us what information he has, and then we find out basically at the same time that the listener would be finding out. So that it's a little stressful, and it's probably why I curse so much, because I have no idea at any moment what he's going to show me. And when he showed me that he had found this Airbnb and filmed himself with a shirt on, a little disappointing for the reenactment, but Pablo with a shirt on coming out of that Airbnb on that Ring camera that caught Bill Belichick. Very fascinating. But yeah, I think, do you think an angle for it for you is that, like, this is a guy that if you're from this area or interacted with him in any way, especially sports media, like, he gave nothing. Did he really think that at this point to be messy and spill over like this, like, media wasn't going to go, oh, that's a thing we're finally getting, a morsel on Belichick? Of course, it's weird for all the reasons I find it weird, but I think it's weirder that people in the comment sections of these videos are like, why does this matter? It's like, because we tried to get to know this guy for decades and we got nothing. And now what we're getting is so the opposite of, like, do your job, no distractions, which was hammered down our throats.
Well, okay, I can just real quickly give you an example. Jim Irsay just passed away, and Jim Irsay was a flawed man, but he was upfront about it. He was very relatable in that. I think that's a quality that I certainly admire. You know, look, I'm a human being too. This is the way I am, and open and talking and self-effacing and those things. Belichick, I think, and it's another interesting angle is he kind of hid his stupidity. Is now what's coming out from everyone around him is he kind of hid his stupidity under an air of arrogance and bullying, which, when that is stripped away and the person is exposed, is like Shakespearean. I mean, it's Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for a number of reasons. I get it that they might just be in love. You can't control who you fall in love with. But there's just so much around it that's strange, like the lying about how old the changing of what year she was born, the pageants of it all. It's just such a strange story with so much to it that it's hard to look away instead of digging deeper and asking, like, what the hell is going on?
So one thing, and it barely bears mentioning, Katie, but there was a story in the Globe last week, and a clinical psychologist and a therapist and this relationship expert and media person was interviewed for the story, and this woman said that this story seems to have captured the imagination mostly of men. It only seems men who are the ones who really care about this. And both Fred and I said, not only is that incorrect, it's the opposite. And I wonder if you've experienced the same thing. Like, the reaction to this comes from casual sports fans, which aren't necessarily men or women, but it's women on both sides of it. Fans, non-sports fans, that have the most to say about this and seem to be the most interested in it.
Yeah, I think it would probably be because, like, media geared specifically towards women is not like, this isn't a foreign angle to them. Being interested in somebody's relationship and how they met and what's going on there is stereotypically, at least, more of a female angle on a story. And I think Belichick is such a transcendent figure that even if you're not really tuned into sports like that, you're aware of at least some adjectives that are used to describe Bill Belichick, of, like, basically just curmudgeon, old, like, buttoned up, that kind of stuff. So I think that, yeah, this is, to me, it's kind of like it's a gossipy story about a sports guy. And I've seen men that are very interested and fascinated. I also think, in order to be fascinated, men would have to admit that that it might be weird for an older man to date somebody that's like 3 generations younger than them. And I think there's a lot of sports fans, men, not all, please hear me when I say not all, but a lot of them who think that they could do that and it would be normal and cool.
Not if you're old and gross. Mick Jagger, George Clooney, these are an art dealer that's like somehow a small royalty in Morocco. These are the things that don't seem odd. An old gross guy that looks every year of that age.
You said that, not me. You said that.
Yes, Fred Toucher. Bill Belichick is old and gross.
Why are you backing away from the table?
I defy you.
I don't know. I don't want to say it. I just feel bad. It's crazy to me
Oh,
how
F
much I
him.
respected and loved
Oh,
this
he's a
guy
piece
for
of crap.
so long. It's such a bummer how much I defended him in every situation to just once again be shown that was the wrong call. And here we are in whatever this. But again, if he's just happy and they're engaged, as some may be saying, well, then what? I hope we're all invited to the wedding.
Well, the kids aren't going. I'll tell you that. But here's Katie. As you know, we talk about the story, and Hardy brings up a good point about are women interested in this story? It's asinine that the clinical psychologist who has a Harvard degree that specializes in relationships think that women aren't in it. But as you navigate sports media, the casuals is an interesting thing. It's sort of like this show. When I knew I was going to do sports talk, I had no interest in on one side, there's the Ron Jaworski show that used to be on Sunday mornings where he literally just broke down plays with an all 22. And I used to think, who the hell is watching this?
Well, that's why they put it on at 7 in the morning.
It's so boring. But
Yeah.
and then on the other side, but there is navigating how to be funny, how to be kind of irreverent, not take it so seriously. How is that for you when you're dealing with big companies and stuff like that? You're a high profile person. How do you sell that to people?
I think for me, the way that I sold this was those shows all exist, and sports TV has shown that it's very good at that, especially, ESPN, Fox Sports 1. They have this formula of making sports TV that they've shown they're incredible at executing. Same thing with live events, because sports is so many things at once. And these networks are very good at doing those things. But I just felt like there was never really a spot where it was okay, but also there's this way of consuming it. We can also speak to this fan, the one who looks at, people breaking down defenses and goes oh, I could try to understand this better, I'm sure, but it's not really moving me. It's not catching me. I'll just go watch something else. The person who wants to be entertained and is there for the entertainment of the sport more than they are for predicting what's going to happen or understanding the coaching of why it was coached this way. Someone who's more just there for the personalities and the watching of a game. And the thing I saw or pictured as I was making this show was think of all of your friends. Think of a stadium of people. Think of Fenway Park. How many people are there watching that game that go home and never listen to a sports podcast? It's a ton, because there's a lot of people who would love to go to a baseball game that aren't going to then just aren't into it like that. But I know they care about sports and are interested in the culture around sports. So I wanted to make a podcast that would maybe appeal to those people in the stadium that go to games, know the teams, aren't necessarily experts, but when they do try to listen to sports content, it kind of doesn't address them or speak to them in a way that they feel welcomed and it's not that serious. It's just sports.
When you are, networks are generally dumb and formulaic. So when you go to, they hired McAfee. When you go to a network and you pitch this, did they go, well, this isn't a debate show? You know what I'm saying? Is it hard to get through their heads that what you're doing works at this level, but there's other ways to perform. There's other ways to entertain.
Yeah, I think at the networks, the main issue for me was that what this boils down to as a TV show, this concept, this idea of appealing to a casual fan is usually a late night format. It's a comedy show is the best way to describe it. And sports TV is not in the business of hiring writers. So there's a sort of a reluctance to invest in the back end of producing a TV show that's very different from the type of TV that they produce. Because if you think about it, they've got all the best producers for what they make, those debate shows, in-house, and it's cheap. They're basically just writing lower thirds on an argument between two guys. They just have to come up with what the topics are. So when I come in and I'm okay, I want to do a weekly show where we do a little bit of sketch, a little bit of man on the street, maybe a little monologue. We have a guest on. that's so many different types of TV. And if you look at any, late night shows staff, not like late night shows are booming, just let me use it as an example.
Right.
But if you look at their staff, it's like a lot of people, and it just wasn't, it wasn't possible budget-wise. It didn't make sense for sports when all of their money usually has to go towards rights, acquiring rights for their, showing the actual sport. They don't want to spend the money on the other stuff, which, makes sense to me, but it also didn't change my mind that I think everybody would benefit from a show that speaks more to a casual fan.
But you're funny and well known. So if I was at a network and you pitch something to me, I would be like, I don't need a whole team of writers. I don't need it to be that structured. Funny people, it doesn't have to be this form. It doesn't have to follow this certain format. I would give talent a license. I would believe in the talent and give them a license to create something. Is what I'm saying.
And that's, are you starting a network? Because it sounds great. And I would love.
No, I think my idea of trusting talent would immediately disqualify me if being at any network.
Exactly. It's especially. I was shocked when I got to ESPN when I first got there. They did like a all talent meeting. So they were like, everybody come to Connecticut. All talent only, not off camera people, only on camera people. And they filled a room so big that I was like, everybody here is on camera talent. That's so many people. It's just such a vast company that once I was in there, I was like, oh, I have to fit into the machine. The machine's not going to change to me, which, of course, but silly me. I felt like I had an idea and we would push to make that work. But the real world doesn't work that way, Fred. We know that.
I understand the immediate pushback, though, and you stated it perfectly at the beginning, which is like, we do these shows, we have a couple of producers, they come up with the topic, and then the guys just kind of like run with it, and it doesn't require a lot of work, doesn't require a lot of money. Oh, Katie, you have a really good idea, and you want to do all these different things. That sounds like work.
Yeah,
sounds like work for us and work for other people. I don't know that other people are going to want to work that much.
We're not used to this.
They're owned by Disney. I would imagine that. I don't know.
They could do it, but it's more work than what they're accustomed to.
Well, at a very small level, I will give CBS credit when they put this show on the air because they allowed us to do what we wanted to do, and at least locally, at a very, very minor level, that was allowed. And a lot of people thought we were going to fail immediately. People in this building thought we were going to fail immediately.
Bring them out.
Yeah. Gresh thought we were going to fail.
He had already put in his application to replace them at one point.
I like Andy, too. I don't blame him. I would have thought the same thing. All right, Katie Nolan, listen, you're the best. I know Dan Soder, your husband, was angry at us, but it wasn't me that did it. The guy's not on the show anymore.
He's not angry at you anymore. I brought it up last night. I said that I was doing, I said I was doing your show. And he was like, oh, I like those guys. They were good sports about me being mad at them. So he's not mad at you anymore.
Well, Dan's like the best comic to have on because he's done radio, so he gets it, and it's a lot of fun. And you're the best. And Katie Nolan, Casuals is something that I will be listening to. And obviously, if you listen to the show, you hear an awful lot of Pablo Tori Finds Out as we enjoy the work that he's doing, so we don't have to do it, and we can just make fun of what he's talking about. So, Katie, thank you so much for joining us. All the best. You're a huge talent. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Thank you. I couldn't see you, but I now you've got
good to see you with your new hair.
Yeah, you doubled down on the hair, and now I'm even thinking I'm dyeing it. I'm
looking at it. She's not wrong for thinking it.
Well, listen,
nobody's wrong.
Maybe she's right. Maybe this is just a very elaborate way of me tricking people. Well, Katie, thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye. There you go, Katie Nolan. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
I still got to put this Belichick thing up, and now I even forgot the dang thing. I'm just gonna put freeze frame. All right, it's. I'm sorry, caller. I couldn't remember what you said. All right, do you guys got anything for me today? What do you got?
John's been just sitting on something ready to hatch.
I like this. I like this theory. Hi, boys. I heard the reason Bill looks lost and disheveled is because he would get to that beach house late at night and block cars in with his car. The neighborhood gets so pissed at Bill in the morning, they would wake up for work and Bill would be blocking everyone in. It got to the point they would lay on their car horns every morning until Bill came out and moved his car. That's the reason the ring cam picked him up.
Well, then that just speaks, if that's the case, to his idiocy. Because, I mean, if you don't want to be looked upon as, as someone who's having sex with a girl 19 years old, then I would suggest parking your car in a parking spot. Or maybe taking a lift. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, that's not much of a paper trail, the lift. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you could do things. What do you got, Hardy?
I have a lot of hair emails for you, Fred. Here's one. Joe wants you to just go all in, and every time after every segment, look at the camera and say, "I still got it." Ralph Malph style.
All right, I can do that. I can do that. I will do something for all the. I'll call you Jughead. I'll do something for all the great redheads throughout history. There are at least 5. Now, I like girls with red hair. I shouldn't be putting that under the. I'm not opposed to a girl with red hair. I will say that right now.
Okay.
Get on the record.
He also said, "Have you seen Bad Thoughts?" Segura's new show on Netflix, super offensive, super funny. And he said, Freddie, I saw Friendship, meh, M-E-H.
I thought Friendship was good. I thought it, and I think that a caller put it right. I think it's one of those ones, like, I think you should leave. If you watch, I think you should leave, like, the third time you see stuff. Sometimes it's funnier than the first time. So I'm not going to go to the theater to see it again, but I would go see Friendship again. I'm not going to go by myself, and I'm not going to drag my daughter there again. So I don't know if I'll see it again in the theater, but I'll watch it again. I think it might be one of those things.
Okay.
Lots of song choice selections from the emailers as well. Benny Mardonis, Into the Night. That makes sense for just the first.
Well, it's the morning.
The first phrase in the song, and Summer Lovin' from Greece. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
It's fun.
I mean, it is fun, but it's been done. Freeze frame is the call. It is up now at Fred Toucher. I made a collaborator of the show, so I got that out of the way, and I tagged Pablo Tori. So everything, I didn't invite him as a collaborator because I didn't think it was necessary, but here we are. So it's up there at Fred Toucher on Instagram, which is growing by leaps and bounds every day.
Someone emailed me to say the donation page wasn't working for the pickleball challenge that Felger and I are doing with against Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman on Wednesday at Bossy and Natick. But I checked them both out at Hardy Radio on Twitter. And then the links on Instagram, you can't embed a link. So someone told me just do a link in bio. Number one, it'd be hypocritical of me because I don't click through to do a link in bio. Either tell me what you want to tell me or don't tell me. And I'm not navigating my way to do a link in bio. But maybe I should do a link in bio.
You could put it in a story too, Hardy. You can put once you make a story, you can put a link on that.
Lincoln stories sounds very complicated.
Okay,
I'll walk you through it during the.
I know how to add music.
Thank you. But there has been a development on the preparation front for the pickleball challenge.
Okay.
Indeed, you were frustrated with Felger because you didn't think he was taking it seriously enough that he was unwilling to practice.
Frustrated is a bit much. I was worried that he wasn't worried. I'll leave it at that. Last night, I think Felger started to worry. So we have set up a practice session. So that is going to be taking place. Now, he didn't want to he didn't want to do. He kept using night putting. He even sent me a little meme on the via text last night about Chevy Chase and night putting the night before the tournament in the big match against Judge Smales.
Because the 100th time is the funniest.
No, I like. He knows that. Look, he knows I get and appreciate the reference, but
yeah,
he's going all in on the night putting. We're going to get together and practice Tuesday night.
Oh, good.
Tuesday night, and we have to play these guys on Wednesday.
Where on Tuesday night will you be practicing?
We got a couple of different options. We got an outdoor option. We got an indoor option.
Okay. Because you got to have an indoor option because this weather ain't cooperating with pickleball.
Yeah, but if you play
Tell me.
indoors, you get used to the environment, right?
Well, that's why.
Yes.
That's why maybe I have booked something at the actual venue.
Oh, hey now. Come
Yeah,
on,
because
Tuesday night.
you got to smell the floor. You got to feel it with your hands. You got to lick it. You got to
Yeah,
taste
but I don't know which court. They got 21 courts there. I don't know what court we're going to be playing on.
You got to go barefoot. You got to bond with your environment.
21 courts.
Oh,
21
That is an
pickleball courts.
investment.
A cacophony of sound.
And we need to get back to what you just said about the feeling the earth, because I got an email very
Yeah,
early
I
about
love that one, and
Yeah.
I responded to it. But Sarah from Everett is on the phone. You got to take that.
Good.
A lot of people are very mad at Nick. Scott Zolak's very mad at Nick. Blind Scott's very
guys.
mad at Nick. Hi, Sarah.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I just wanted to say that I embarrassed myself when I came in. I
No,
was
you
very
didn't.
nervous. I was
No, you
very
didn't.
uncomfortable. I did. It's okay. I
didn't.
accepted
No,
that.
you were
Nick
fine.
did.
But
You were fine.
But I was very compliant, and I never said no to Nick. And I don't want to get him in trouble. We got great audio from that. You guys got great audio from that. But I never said no to him.
Because Nick
would have
alleges that when
never-
he moved you, you said you would not move.
I would have never. No, do you saw how I'm easy breezy? I would have never done that.
Nick is a liar.
He's a liar. He's lying as an Italian, and he's lying right now.
Oh
So
boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
Well, he wasn't purposely lying about being Italian. That was just what he was told.
Yeah. All
yeah,
right.
he's living. He's just a living liar.
All right, Sarah. Well, thank you. At least your shots were not aimed at me today.
Why is Zoe upset with Nick?
Because Nick, what, you wouldn't take his call or something? I don't know. Scott's upset. I don't know. He's texting. He's upset. He said he effing hates Nick.
Wow.
All right, go ahead. Read the one read the one. So the idea was this: Dan Lifshitz is funny when he talks about stuff because he talks in this like condescending expert tone.
Mhm.
He did lose a ton of weight, and that's great.
Good for him.
But he talked about a phenomenon called grounding, which is where you take your shoes off and you go and like stand in the grass or dirt, which I would assume when I heard the term was just like I'm grounded on the earth. It's like a meditation technique, right?
Yeah.
But he went on to explain, we'll never get to the bit. He went on to explain how it just changes your cells at a molecular level, that standing on dirt, the insides of your body at a microscopic level are like mutating and changing and moving around. I asked for a doctor. Instead, I got a hippie lady nutritionist who went to Framingham State University.
Christine, she was very nice.
She was very nice, but not what I wanted. But
Would you have settled for a scientist?
I would have.
Okay, well, a scientist did email us. He says, anyone exposing grounding as a way to balance your electrical charges is a moron. Human body is way different than a wire carrying electricity. It's not the flow of electrons in the human body like in a wire. It's ionic compounds flowing in and out of cells for which grounding in the earth does nothing. Furthermore, the outer layers of the dermis are all dead cells. No ionics flowing via the proteins and cellular membranes because the cells are dead.
Yes, and I said to him, I actually replied to him and said, where were you? Why were you not listening at the moment we were talking about it? Because that's exactly the guy I wanted on.
He's got a little hippie in him, too, though, because then a P.S., Hardy, stop leaving your truck running while you run into a store, which I did when I ran in to grab
Thank you. I love this man.
My hot dog, my parking lot hot dog, which fell out of the bun and the box it was in. I picked it up off the pavement and still ate it. He said it's not the Arctic Circle, FFS. Even if your truck is diesel, you don't need to do that with a gas vehicle ever, FYI. You can easily start it. If it's already pop. You know what? I'm going to leave it running. I'm going to leave it for 30 seconds. I'm going to leave it running.
Stupid, lazy behavior. Shame on you. Do not idle your car.
Adam one time put a neighbor of his had left their snowblower running, and Adam had filmed it and incredulously put it up as evidence of this person's waste of life.
I did no such thing.
Yes, you did.
I could totally see you doing that.
I probably turned it off. Did I really do that?
It wasn't yours. It was someone else's.
No, but
I thought you did. I could be
it wasn't
wrong.
me.
Okay.
I would.
Or you co-signed on it or something.
Absolutely, you could do that.
I would say that's no. What I would do, I would never film and post it because I don't believe in posting stuff of people without
consent.
Thank you. But I would just turn it off.
Before I started using fuel stabilizer, Adam, you would have loved this. Both my mower and snowblower, anything that was going to sit idle for months and there were any gas in it, I would just start it and let it sit there until the gas ran all the way out. And sometimes with that snowblower, it might take a half an hour. Just sitting there running.
Beaton just said his dad does it too. I guess I have 2 new enemies now.
Well, you could get your dad to kick Beaton's dad's ass. How about that, Ryan? Try that on for size. All right, let's break, and then when we come back, we can end the show, and then we will leave for the weekend. It's my son's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Milo. Does he have a song? He used to request songs.
I'm not going to embarrass him, and I didn't ask him, but I will tell you this. If you've been listening to the show, this will make you feel old. Remember when he was Stephanie was giving birth to him, and the show I called in live, or the show called me, and I was on the air live during Milo's birth. It took a long time. Yeah. It took like 23 hours. Yeah. And like nurses were bringing beer in for that. Listeners were dropping off at Beth Israel. It was all fun. And he's 17 now. So there you go. Congratulations to Milo, who I love very much. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox.
such an fantastic explosion.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Friday, Memorial Day weekend. We'll all be back Memorial Day weekend on Memorial Day. And aren't you glad I suggested it now?
Yes, I'm not going out of town, so let's bank the comp day. I agree.
We're working Memorial Days, though. What do you think of that? We're all working it the whole show. Everybody.
Everyone fell in line.
All
this is
six
how we're,
of us.
because we're all friends.
That's right.
Hey,
So
no
we're a
chance
unit.
I'm working Monday.
What?
Huh?
No chance I'm working Monday.
Yeah,
I heard you yesterday saying that you had tapped out of the show at about 10:30, and that what did you say
Text
today?
my wife right now. Ask her what I said before I left the house. I said I don't feel like going to work today.
Well, that's every day.
Every day.
No,
All of us.
But
Let's get everyone else in here.
When
and
was the
ask them
first?
about
When
that.
was the last time you wanted to get up and go in?
The pool was overflowed this morning for the rain. I was out there barefoot. My feet froze because it was so cold in the wet grass. But I felt one with the earth, and I heard your talk with Liv Shits and his feet touching the. What's up with your hair, man?
I don't have a hat on. I know.
You get mine dyed tonight anyway, so it doesn't matter. My daughter does mine.
I would swear to God I'd tell you if I dyed my hair. I swear to God I would tell you.
You're white. When the hair turns white, it loses all its
Yeah.
ability to
Look
hold
at him
color.
away from these TV lights, though. Like it's just gray brown hair.
Yeah.
It's the light. It's the sheen.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Same thing when I get on here. Oh, your hair's red.
I
It's not
take
red.
testosterone. I admit it. Like I take Prozac. What do you want to know? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I have very hard vulnerable.
Loony.
I know, believe me. Have I ever called you on calling me that? Have I ever questioned any of your jokes in that matter? Never.
No.
I can encourage them, as a matter of fact. But like, I have a very hard time being vulnerable with people, feelings. But if you want me to admit stuff that I'm doing, I'll tell you anything. I mean, as long as it won't upset my kids on the radio. But but what do you want to know? I tell you if I dyed my hair. Believe me. I wouldn't be embarrassed. I just don't do it.
It is wild though how different when I look at the
It looks like my hair's red, which
when
my
you
hair's
look on
not.
the YouTube feed, it looks red.
It does, and I swear to God, it's not red. How about this?
What is it? Medium ash brown.
Okay.
She's real artistic. She goes through just to get the white out.
All right, and I don't think that's embarrassing
17
at all. Like at all, I don't think that's embarrassing. I've had my daughter shave my back.
Man, with the comb and the.
Yeah, I've had my daughter take.
What do you have to pay her for that?
I don't have to pay her for that. The women find that somehow like soothing or something,
I
like
used to tan
removing
and
the
put
hair.
lemon in my hair, and I thought it would.
I did that.
But
I put sun in too.
Cool season's here. I take the.
I know. I was just going to ask you to do this.
Chlorinated pucks I keep in my filter, and I take them out. I rub them through my hands, and when the sun's hot, about 85 and sunny, I just.
He shoves his hand in the chlorine bucket and then rubs it through his hair.
Next night, man, it's the frosted tips, man. They're just banging.
Yeah.
Smells great too. I mean, but
I used to put sun
there's
in
a
my
glow.
hair.
Like you turn the lights on, you see my head glow.
I used to have I used to have a shaved head except for bangs. The top of my head had bangs to my chin, and I used to put sun in, and it was bright blonde.
Man.
Oh yeah, I was trying to look like Tony Hawk without any of the talent. All right, and now I look at Tony Hawk back then, and that's what I was
Tony
trying
Hawk
to look
is
like.
now doing like elderly supplement commercials. I saw one last night on Jeopardy.
Fantastic. Well, that's good to know.
Enjoy your weekend.
All right, well, that'll do it for us. Everyone, enjoy your long weekend. If you happen to be up on Monday, we'll all be here, so that'll do it for us, which was a smart decision. Look at the weather. That'll do it for us. Bye.
Have a